Did we make it? Did we do it? Are we here? Is everybody here? Are we live on YouTube and Twitter?
365 Sports.
Oh, yeah! We are all the way here, baby. Live from McLean Stadium. Actually, to be specific, Brazos Parking right across MLK from McLean Stadium. This is the Green and Gold Game Day Show, and we are in the tailgate hour. You want to come join us? Get on down here to Brazos Parking, Camp Fimfo Tailgate. Southern Roots is here with the best beer in Waco. Blake Blackmar is here smoking up a storm on the barbecue pit. And we, 365 Sports and Rogue Media, are on location to give you the best, the premier pregame show as the Baylor Bears get ready to take on the Samford Bulldogs here in Waco. My name is Scotty Swingler. Oh, we did it. We're here. We're live. This is great. Glad you've joined us. And this segment is called Setting the Stage. Maybe setting the stage. Brilliant. All right. Let's set the stage. YouTube. There they are. Thank you. Excellent. Let's do this thing, y'all. Okay. The Baylor Bears, 1-1. That's fine. I was a little bummed about the Auburn game. Hope you were too. Last week, though. Last week, how about that game? How do you feel about that game last week? I got to tell you, I have never come off a road come from behind victory against a ranked team more, I don't know, conflicted, confused, mixed emotions going on, right, than I was last week when Baylor left Dallas. Because on one hand, oh my gosh, win city, baby. Win, 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 okay? If Baylor wins every game like that but goes 11-1, I'm cool. I'm good. Win's a win. Come from behind win at that. Overtime win, even better. But, dadgummit, do we have to go down by 14 every time we face a ranked opponent in the first quarter? Man, the Bears have a lot to prove today. Now, Samford doesn't roll into town like Auburn, pumping their chest, thinking that they're going to win this football game. Samford doesn't present any real threat to the Baylor Bears today. Let's not start off by acting like it's anything else. But Samford has scored 13 points all season. Samford, I believe, I'll look this up before we do our Behind Enemy Line segment, is 1 for 8 on red zone trips, something like that this season, in terms of getting points on the board. And Baylor's defense has looked shabby, to say the least, in the last 2 weeks against two very good offenses, two proficient dual-threat quarterbacks. But if you can't hold Samford under 20, that's probably like a generous expectation. Let's say under 10 today. There are going to be continued questions about Dave Aranda's defense going into the Arizona State matchup next week. So this is a game, Baylor fans, you expect to win big. You expect to see some fresh blood, some second, third-string players get a shot to get out there and hit the field at McLean Stadium and show what they can do. But you got to expect this defense to start to put some things together and execute. If you can't execute against this team, I shudder to think what a pissed off Sam Leavitt is going to do to you next week, right? Arizona State coming off that loss to Mississippi State. But we need you here. We need Baylor fans to fill up McLean Stadium today, despite the name on the jersey of the opponent and get loud and be hype and be supportive of this team. We've got so many things to talk about today. We are going to lead you straight up to kickoff here on the Green and Gold Game Day Show. I want to thank some of our friends who are making this possible. Central National Bank, thanks for sponsoring, setting the stage. Hondo Hat Company, look, is this not the coolest Baylor cap you've ever seen in your life? That's right. You're going to see some advertisements today for Hondo Hat Company. Baylor branded. We love them. Check out their stuff. It's going to be great. We have a fan vote up now on YouTube. If you are watching on X or somewhere else that we're streaming, go to Green and Gold Game Day on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Check out this fan vote and go ahead and pitch in your thoughts. Here was my question. What player are you most excited to potentially see on the field today? We may have an opportunity, Baylor fans, to see some players we don't normally see. Are you most excited to see a backup quarterback? By the way, intriguing. I don't know which backup quarterback we might see first. Dave Aranda won't say. Could be Walker White, could be Nate Bennett, could be the freshman, Edward Griffin. Who knows? Are you most excited to see a young receiver? Listen, this receiving core is deep this year. We still haven't seen Jaden Porton, Taz Williams, Ja'Cory Watson. Are you excited to see one of them maybe hit the field today for the Bears? Are you excited to see if there's any depth on this defense, any pieces behind the starters who might make a name for themselves today and earn an opportunity next week to try to bolster this struggling defense? Or are you excited for something else, someone else? So make sure to hit YouTube, Green and Gold Game Day, like this video, subscribe, share it with your friends. By the way, we'll be live on KWTX Channel 10 here in Waco at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. This is great. Thank you so much for joining us today for Green and Gold Game Day. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have First Roar here at McLean Stadium. This is Green and Gold Game Day.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to Deer Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Deer Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Deer Sports.
At Hellberg, we've received accolades for our barbecue, but my real passion is in cultivating world-class culinary experiences that bring people together. We would love to cater your next event. You receive a fully personalized experience complete with a custom menu that's sure to impress your guests. And even though we're known for our barbecue, it goes way beyond that. We've done everything from box lunches to grilled oysters and whole roasted pigs. Basically, if you can dream it, we can do it. This is at the heart of what we do. This is Hellberg.
365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day is made possible in part by Ascension Providence here in Waco.
At CampFinfo Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast, coming to you from the Star in the players' meeting room with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus.
You now have two responsibilities this year that you didn't have last year, and that's being a first-time head coach and calling plays for Dak Prescott for the first time. But now we're doing something that we do annually. We get Stephen Jones's perspective on this football team and how it was built and what expectations should be.
Welcome back to Green and Gold Game Day. Once again, want to invite you to like and subscribe on YouTube so you catch all the Baylor pregame action here with 365 Sports. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Scotty Swingler, and this segment we're going to call First Roar. Here's why. Because I'm going to bring on my old college buddy, Michael Bartlemy, and every week before the Baylor home games, we're going to pick a random topic, and I mean random, and we're going to yell at each other about it because that's what you do when you're longtime buddies and when you talk college football. So let me bring him in. Michael Bartlemy, everybody.
Hey, let's do it.
Let's do it. So, Michael, it has been 11 years since our senior year football season, 2014. We opened McLean there on the front row of the student section together. We did. And it's been 11 freaking years, which is unbelievable. And the other thing that's going on is Baylor's best player on the defensive side of the ball is one number 11, Keaton Thomas. We love Keaton Thomas. So today I thought we should hash this out. Who are the 5 best Baylor Bears of all time to wear the number 11? Michael, you're our guest. Would you present your top 5?
Yes, I would love to. I took a couple liberties with this list, notably that one of my people did not always wear number 11, but I'm taking his whole career as my thing, which is number 5. I have Taylor Young. You know him, you love him. He put Baker Mayfield in the torture chamber, and we loved it. Number 4, I have Gary Bohannon. Took us to Sugar Bowl, won a Big 12 championship. Can't hate it. Number 3, I have Nick Florence. Nick Florence, so selfless to come in that game where RG3 got hurt and win that game and keep us alive. Next year leads the biggest comeback maybe in Baylor history against Kansas State. Number 2, I have Ron Francis, the maybe lesser-known Francis brother, but 2-time All-Southwest Conference player. Yep, you're Googling it. He wore number 11, Scotty. You could Google that.
I might have really messed my list
and
up.
number one, Neil Jeffrey, Miracle on the Brazos, 1974, your quarterback, wore number 11. That's my number 1. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. I got to admit, Michael, that's a pretty dadgum good list. That's a pretty good list, sir. I did not expect you to come out with such a good list on our first effort here on First Roar. Couple disclaimers before I get into mine. 1, Ron Francis wore 11. Did not know that. Must admit, he should probably be in your top 5. He should probably be in my top 5. That's a great call out. He's not in mine. It's okay. Other disclaimer. I have never thought of Taylor Young as number 11. I always think of number 1.
He wore number 11. He wore number 11.
You're right. He did. However, when he made that tackle on Baker Mayfield, he was wearing number 1. So I don't think you get to claim that as evidence for your list. Michael, let me present to you my top 5, and it is different than your top 5. And I want to suggest you left off arguably the best number 11 of all time. He's number 2 on my list. Here we go. Number 5. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Keaton Thomas. Keaton Thomas is my number 5. Expecting this man to be a first-team All-Big 12 performer this year, potential All-American, outstanding, going to be a huge core piece on this Baylor defense. Number 4, our lists are the same. Gary Bohannon. How can you not? Led the team to its best record ever, Big 12 championship. We know Blake Shapen played in that Big 12 championship game. Not taking away from that. Bears never get there without Gary Bohannon. Also a Sugar Bowl victory as he was quarterbacking. Number 3, I agree with you again. Nick Florence. Cannot deny the man was a great quarterback, especially engineering that Art Briles offense. My favorite stat about Nick Florence, he had more total yards in the regular season than Heisman winner Johnny Manziel did that same season. Number 2, 1, Sean Bell. Michael, did you know that Baylor was 3-1 in Big 12 play when Sean Bell tore his ACL to take him out his senior year? Baylor had not gone 500 or better in conference play since 1995. And in 2006, 3-1 in Big 12 play when Sean Bell tore his ACL, knocked out for the season. Bears lost 4 straight, never recovered. Baylor was going to break that bowl drought in 2006 if Sean Bell had not torn his ACL. By the way, left the school with all the passing records. And can you imagine if that man had had an Art Briles offense just a couple years later? My word. Sean Bell, my number 2, and number 1, you got this one right, partner. Neil Jeffrey, cannot deny. First conference championship in 50 years, kicked off the great years of Grant Taft, drafted by the Chargers. Neil Jeffrey, we agree. I did not think we'd agree this much, partner.
Well, I do have a few other ones that I didn't get on the list that I flagged, which was Terrence Lloyd, who is top 10 all time in sacks at Baylor. I flagged it, and then I didn't put Sean Bell specifically to make you mad.
Now, wait a minute. Sir, this show has journalistic integrity. I need you to be objective.
Hey, we're here to create lists. This is about list making.
I need you to be objective with your list. Do not take my GOAT off your list just out of pettiness. Petty spite. We're going to replace you before the next home game. I'll name another one that was not on either list, but deserves some consideration. Big number Phil Taylor wore number 11. Big Phil Taylor.
Is that so?
Drafted defensive tackle from
I'm not
Penn
going to
State.
lie to you. I didn't have that one. I
Big
probably would have picked Phil Taylor as my number 5.
Phil Taylor wore number 11.
I feel bad now. I didn't flag Phil Taylor as going through. I probably would have made it above Taylor Young on my list if I could redo it.
We got you. Anything else about number 11s in Baylor history, Michael?
No, I think that Keaton Thomas is going to have a big season, man. I think he's going to have a big season. The one thing that you can always count on with Dave Aranda is his linebackers. Dave Aranda makes great linebackers over and over and over again. And he's got Keaton Thomas as his next great one.
What do you think Keaton Thomas would have to accomplish this season in order for us to put him in that upper echelon? Because no doubt he's already one of the best in school history, but This is probably the deepest position in school history when you consider from Singletary and James Francis, Bryce Hager, Eddie Lackey, even more recently, Taylor Young, freaking Terrell Bernard. I mean, my goodness, what does he have to do to get in those lists?
I think 3 things have to happen. One is 2 of them are objective and 1 of them is subjective. One of them is, I think he's got to be first team all Big 12. Just done. 2, I think the team has to be competing for a conference championship at the end of the year, and potentially a playoff spot. 3, and this is the one that is really subjective, and you could tell me, like, when Eddie Lackey was on the field or when Terrell Bernard was on the field, it was like, there's 3rd and 1, and this dude's going to slice through the offensive line, tackle the running back 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and you feel good about that happening.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Michael. Just remember now as we sign off, Nick Florence, by the way, new Baylor color commentator, Nick Florence. We love it. Nick Florence, God love him, I love him, went 4-5 in conference play with Art Briles and Terrence Williams on the outside. Sean Bell was 3-1 his senior year with Guy Morris as his head coach. That's all I'm going to say. You screwed up, Michael. You screwed up. That's going to do it for today's edition of First Roar. We'll see you before the next home game. We are in the tailgate hour here of Green and Gold Game Day. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back after this.
Welcome back to Deer Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Deer Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Deer Sports.
At Hellberg, we've received accolades for our barbecue, but my real passion is in cultivating world-class culinary experiences that bring people together. We would love to cater your next event. You receive a fully personalized experience complete with a custom menu that's sure to impress your guests. And even though we're known for our barbecue, it goes way beyond that. We've done everything from box lunches to grilled oysters and whole roasted pigs. Basically, if you can dream it, we can do it. This is at the heart of what we do. This is Helberg.
365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day is made possible in part by Ascension Providence here in Waco.
At Game Finfo Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, at your RV, in the cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast, coming to you from the Star in the players' meeting room with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus.
You now have two responsibilities this year that you didn't have last year, and that's being a first-time head coach and calling plays for Dak Prescott for the first time. But now we're doing something that we do annually. We get Stephen Jones's perspective on this football team and how it was built and what expectations should be.
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out gathercoremodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
Welcome back. Green and Gold Game Day. We are here. Scotty Swingler, 365 Sports. So happy to have you with us for the premier Baylor football pregame show as Baylor gets ready to take on Samford here at McLean Stadium. So if you weren't familiar, Rogue Media is this awesome thing going on in Waco. We house in the Alico building. We have a great time. Daily shows, weekly shows. I host a podcast called Please Bear With Me. We have Matt Mosley now, who hosted a show for 7 years here on 1660 Central Texas. ESPN Central Texas hosts a show every day. And we have another guy who you may know from KWTX. Pete Souza has a daily show with us at Rogue Media. It is called, cleverly named, The Pete Souza Show. And I asked my buddy Pete to make 3 predictions about today's game. Let's throw it to Pete and see what he has to say.
Time for Pete's predictions, and man, no better time, no better place than Waco, Texas, and McLean Stadium. Samford taking on Baylor. One prediction: it's not going to be as hot as it was opening weekend, so Matt Mosley will not be sweating as much. If you had the opportunity to come out to the game and see the pregame tailgate early on against Auburn, it was hot. It was really hot. They had a blackout, so Mosley was wearing black. There was a lot of sweat, not enough fans. I think that Mosley will be much cooler, and this show will see him in a much more comfortable environment and see a lot less sweat. You know who else isn't going to sweat? Dave Aranda. Do you know why? Are you ready for this? Baylor will not give up more than 7 points. Okay? How do you like that? The opportunity for Baylor's defense to digest, right, and process and understand this Dave Aranda defense and how intricate it is, I think they're catching up to those schemes and the intricacies, and I think we're going to see this team start to play fast and free. This is a huge opportunity for Baylor to do that. I've talked ad nauseum, if you watch the Pete Souza show and on Inside the 12, which I do for the Big 12, that Baylor's non-con schedule so far has been probably the toughest in the country when you look at that they played a ranked Auburn team, Auburn's ranked now, and an SEC or an SMU team, that is coming off a college football playoff appearance and was ranked at the time. Now, and I would never say that Dave Aranda would look past this Samford team, but it is an opportunity for Baylor to catch their breath. Every other team in the country has had some kind of an opportunity to do that so far. Baylor has not. I think this is a huge week for them, but I think the defense coming together and the opportunity to play a team that you know you're better than will have that defense feeling pretty good and will keep Samford at 7 points or less. Final prediction, and it's going to have to happen early because it's going to be a blowout. For the 4th straight game, Sawyer Robertson will throw for more than 400 yards. You heard it here first. I believe that this game will be close enough through the first, let's say, 2.5, 3 quarters for Sawyer to get to that mark of 400 yards. I do think that they will, the door or the opportunity for Bryson Washington to have a big day will certainly be opened, because that is one part of Baylor's offense that has been lacking, right? A running game consistently. I think Bryson Washington will get that opportunity, but I believe at the end of the day, Sawyer Robertson is too good, and this is who Baylor is. So I look for him to have, and I'm not talking about 490 yards, maybe 405 passing yards, and that'll be some kind of a record. Maybe a long shot prediction, the last one, the first one, Mosley sweating less. Take it to the bank. See you guys next week.
Green and gold game day here at McLean Stadium. And Pete Souza, okay, let me rank his predictions here. His best prediction was Mosley will not sweat as much. That is facts. It is much nicer out here this morning than it was late afternoon a couple Fridays ago against Auburn. Great weather today. Fantastic prediction there. Second prediction, he said that Dave is not going to sweat it. Baylor has a chance to catch his breath, and this defense will hold Samford to under 7 points. I think that's optimistic. I hope that turns out to be true. The Samford team is not just a lower-level team. They are a bad lower-level team, if I can just be perfectly blunt and honest about that here on the tailgate hour of Green and Gold Game Day. That would be a really good sign. It would be a really, really good sign if your defense can play up to that level, holding them under a touchdown. I think that would be good. I do wonder, though, Pete says Dave Aranda's not sweating it. I do wonder if this defense, again, we said this a few minutes ago, if this defense gives up 20 points today, you are sweating it. If you give up 20 to Samford, you're going to give up 40 to Sam Lovett in Arizona State, right? I mean, and that is the question, the biggest question I think all fans have on our minds as we come out to tailgate today, as we get ready for this game is, man, do we have to win every game the same way that we won that SMU game? Do we have to win that game in a way that relies so heavily on our offense? You know, I said earlier this week on the Matt Mosley show, this team, can go one of two ways. It can go the way of the 2012 Baylor Bears, or it can go the way of the 2014 Baylor Bears. And here's what I mean by that. The 2012 Baylor Bears had one of the most explosive offenses in the country. In fact, you may have forgotten this. In 2012, Nick Florence had more total yards going into the Heisman ceremony than Johnny Manziel did, who won the Heisman. Think about that again. Nick Florence led the country in total yards by an offensive player going into Heisman week. More than Johnny Manziel, who had an insane season and won the Heisman. But that offense couldn't score enough points to overcome its poor defense. I think in particular of that road trip to Morgantown. Some of you remember watching that game in 2012. I think 70-63 was the final, and the difference was Baylor punted once, right? Terrence Williams had 1,800 receiving yards that season. So this team could be like the 2012 Baylor Bears. Or is this team going to be the 2014 Baylor Bears? The 2014 Baylor Bears also didn't have a great defense. But the difference was Bryce Petty, Corey Coleman, Katie Cannon, Jay Lee, Antoine Goodley, Shock Linwood, Devin Chafin. Those guys were able, more often than not, to overcome their defense, often in thrilling fashion. I think of 61-58. We're going to talk more about that game, by the way, coming up on our Faith in the Field segment next hour. So which team is this going to be? More like 2012, 8-5, your defense handicaps you all season, or more like 2014, Big 12 championship level, you can overcome your defense? I don't know. One thing I know is I want to see this defense improve. And if you can't execute today, do the simple things right today, tackle today, build confidence today, it's going to be hard to improve against these really good Big 12 teams coming up. Don't get it twisted. I know both Arizona State and Kansas State have disappointed early in the season, but those are teams perfectly capable of beating Baylor if Baylor's defense isn't ready to rise to the occasion and execute the simple, fundamental things correctly. His third prediction, Sawyer Robertson will have 400 yards again. By the way, we will end the show today in a couple hours asking the honest question if Sawyer Robertson is a Heisman candidate. Are we ahead of that? Are we behind? Are we overstating his importance to this team or his statistical dominance so far? We'll discuss it in the last hour of the show. But if Sawyer has over 400 yards today, that would be something, because I think even if he gets pulled in the third quarter. That's a lot of yards to rack up by quarter 3. And I almost think, where I would push back against Pete here, I almost think it's more important to establish your offensive line's confidence and Bryson Washington's confidence. Because the last 2 weeks, if defense hasn't been your primary concern, I think for most of us it has been, offensive line and the inability to establish the run, that's been your concern. It really has. It has been shocking to me, the lack of cohesion along that front 5, especially because they played so well in the back half of last season. And, it happens against Auburn, and you can excuse it. We can talk about SEC strength, linemen, blah, 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 all the narrative, right? But shouldn't have happened against SMU. SMU's defensive line should not have their way with Baylor's offensive line. SMU's defense should not be holding Bryson Washington under 4 yards a carry. And I think that's almost more important to figure out on offense today, is what you have with that team there. So there's my reaction. Pete's predictions. Thank you, Slovaceks, for sponsoring Pete's show. By the way, thanks, Southern Roots. Southern Roots, sponsor of today's show. They're right out here at the Camp Fimfo tailgate. We want you to come see us. There's a good crowd here. We are next to the Sikkim 365 tailgate. We are at the Camp Fimfo tailgate. It's a beautiful day. There's not a cloud in the sky. The weather's fantastic. People are starting to come in. You're going to see the traffic behind me increase as the show goes on. Come see us. Get a beer from Southern Roots. Get some barbecue from Blake Blackmar. Come say hi to 365 Sports and Rogue Media as we produce the Green and Gold Game Day Show. This is the Tailgate Hour. Coming up next hour, Matt Mosley, Faith Lynch. We will talk to Baylor legend Alfred Anderson. We will talk to Baylor kickers John Mayers and Chris Callahan about what it takes to kick game-winning field goals. And then the final hour today, we will make all the predictions, break this game down for you, talk about the Big 12, and get us ready for kickoff on the Green and Gold Game Day Show. I want to check really quickly the hour 1 fan vote. I don't know how many people voted on this. We pitched it when we came up. Here we go. Who are you most excited to see on the field against Samford? We are tied right now. Again, 11 votes. So you could go swing this vote right now. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, head over to Green and Gold Game Day on YouTube and vote. Right now, it's a tie between backup quarterback and defensive depth pieces. I would say for me, I am probably most excited to see the backup quarterback, or I really like this receiving core, y'all. And I don't even think we've scratched the surface of just how deep it can go. I think Taz Williams is a dude. Everything about, they call Jadon Porter NFL or league, right? That's his nickname because he is just balling out at practice. Ja'Cory Watson getting rave reviews from teammates, a talented freshman as well. I love seeing those next pieces and getting those guys an opportunity, because there will be several pieces on that receiving core to replace next season. Thanks so much for voting. Hey, I'll just tell you, part of the vibe or the ethos of this show is we want you to participate. So make sure you follow Green and Gold Game Day, you subscribe on YouTube, and you vote in these polls so that we can keep the engagement coming. And again, come out to set. We're here. We've been here since 6 o'clock this morning. We will be here right up to kickoff, and we will have Faith Lynch, Matt Mosley, Alfred Anderson. I saw Seth Russell a few minutes ago over here hanging out with Blake Blackmar by the barbecue pit. Baylor legends abound all over the place. There's no better place to be than Green and Gold Game Day. Man, who sponsors this show, Kevin? We need to thank them too. Hondo Hat Company. You like the hat? You can get one. Hondo Hat Company. We want to thank Central National Bank. We want to thank Slovaceks. We want to thank Ascension Providence. Ascension Providence. Just because the other place has the name Baylor on it doesn't mean it's better. Go to Ascension Providence. Particularly want to thank Becky over there for sponsoring the show. We want to thank Gather & Co. Bathroom and Kitchen. My friend Kelly Falconberry. If you've heard of Falconberry Construction, they've rebranded Gather & Co. They're awesome. Their ideal is to make home a space you want to live in. They specialize in the outdoor pergolas, outdoor kitchens. They specialize in like senior living, accessible bathrooms. If you need to remodel a bath, an outdoor space, check out Gather & Co. Man, McLean Stadium, Waco, Texas. No better place to be Green and Gold Game Day. You've joined us. We thank you again. At 9 o'clock, we'll be live here on YouTube, here on X, on KWTX locally. You can follow Rogue Media all week to get the very best Baylor football content. Please bear with me. It goes live at 5 o'clock tomorrow night. That's me and Baylor legend Terrence Ganaway. We'll recap the Samford game, look ahead to Arizona State. And then Faith Lynch has a show, Dear Sports, every week. Matt Mosley every day. Pete Souza every day. We want you to come be part of the family at 365 Sports and Rogue Media. Last thoughts before we take a break. My producer's saying something to me, and I don't know. Oh, that is good to talk about, I guess. Yeah. Tailgate hour. Vibes are casual. Who is going to step up on that defensive side of the ball? Here, this is called fan feedback frenzy, but we don't have any fans here yet. Who's going to step up on the defensive side of the ball? Kevin. Who's going to step up on the defensive side of the ball today? Shrugs. I agree. Okay. Who? This is the problem. Morgan, Hurd. Caleb Burns. Faith Lynch nodding her head. Think we need to see something from Caleb Burns today. I'd really like to see Tyler Turner take a step today. I think that would be good. Safety transfer from Oregon. Of course, we're missing Devin Turner this season, the transfer from Northwestern, who was projected to start at that position, tore an ACL. We will have him back next season. I'd like to see Tevin Williams make a pick today. Yeah, I'm getting some nods from the people around here. Tevin Williams needs a pick today. I would like to see Keaton Thomas get a Mike Singletary-esque 25 tackles today in 2 quarters of action. That would be a Singletary-esque performance for Keaton Thomas. I think that would be good. Who else? Marion Winston, sacks would be good. We need a lot of sacks today, by the way. 3+ sacks, says our producer Grant. I think 3+ sacks would be good. Yeah, bottom line, you got your butt kicked in the trenches against Auburn. You got beat in the trenches against SMU. Like, this is the time for your offensive and defensive lines to establish a little confidence, a little bit. We do not want to see any sign that Baylor's front 7 or front 5 on the offensive side can't mow these guys over. Just want to be candid about that. Again, coming up on the Green and Gold Game Day show at 9 o'clock, Faith Lynch, Matt Mosley. They are going to ask you what signifies success for Baylor today. Make sure you go to Green and Gold Game Day on YouTube. Check it out. Vote in that poll. Matt Mosley is going to deliver what Matt Mosley does. We'll talk with Matt. Whatever's on his mind, he's going to tell us, and we'll engage with that. Then we will have Baylor legend Grant Taff, running back legend Alfred Anderson, join us at approximately 9:20. Approximately 9:20, Alfred Anderson will be here on the set with us. If you want to come meet Alfred, meet Blake, come to the Camp Finfo tailgate. Join us here at the Green and Gold Game Day show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, hour 2 of the show will be on KWTX if you're at home. But join us. Subscribe on YouTube, Green and Gold Game Day. My name's Scotty Swingler. We'll be right back after this quick word from our sponsors. Thanks so much.
At Hellberg, we've received accolades for our barbecue, but my real passion is in cultivating world-class culinary experiences that bring people together. We would love to cater your next event. You receive a fully personalized experience complete with a custom menu that's sure to impress your guests. And even though we're known for our barbecue, it goes way beyond that. We've done everything from box lunches to grilled oysters and whole roasted pigs. Basically, if you can dream it, we can do it. This is at the heart of what we do. This is Hellberg.
At Camp Finfo Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
I mean, yeah, a new coach comes in, they're going to churn the roster. I think that's just we've got all these transfer portal stats and what Dion did and what Fritz has done. I mean, that's the deal, man. That's the game that's being played nowadays.
Maybe a little bit unknown at quarterback. I mean, unknown to the rest of the world, but, you know, he dove into the portal and got a guy who is super, super athletic.
South Dakota State's really good. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what they can do and what Oklahoma State needs to be worried about.
But look at that form right there. I need to say nothing else about this because I found one.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge?
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
I'm Cole Posey, and I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and in over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
.365 Sports.
Welcome back to the 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. I'm Faith Lynch here with Matt Mosley. Guys, home game. We're finally live from a tailgate setting. Matt, I'm pumped. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for driving and hanging out.
Yeah, it's great. Glad you have the depth chart over there because you're going to have to get way down on the depth chart today. And it's going to be a fun day. Samford, they're in town. They've made it in. They're going to try to make it a game. And I do think they're going to come out throwing haymakers. And so it'll be fascinating to watch how this goes. But I think the Bears are, there's a lot of things they can work on today. And I don't want to make this out to be a scrimmage because this is a real game. But boy, they've been in a bad way. These guys have been in a bad way. Yeah. And the thing is, they know what this is. This is a money game. They're coming to pick up a check. But as we've seen, some teams that do that will actually throw some punches and make some plays and that kind of thing. And that's why the Bears need to take care of this one early.
I agree. That kind of leads us into our fan vote. I'll go ahead and launch that for hour 2. What signifies success for Baylor today? Any win by a convincing margin, mistake-free football for all 3 phases, holding Samford to under 10 points, or second and third string players getting playing time. So we'll go ahead and launch that. Make sure you interact with that. We'll talk about the results at the end of hour 2. I think for this one for Baylor, kind of going off of what Matt was talking about a minute ago, I think mistake-free football in all 3 phases is what I would love to see Baylor do today. I think we haven't gotten to see that a little bit. Yes, it's game 2. But I would like for them just to be able to prove that, hey, we can play good football. We can be consistent. We can show up on any given day, regardless of who we're playing, and play Baylor football and just have that, have a system, have something that we know we're going to see every weekend. We are consistent. I'd love to see that from Baylor.
And also, if they do that, it almost feels like this could be a continued celebration of that SMU win.
I agree.
It was great to be on with you guys yesterday from the stadium. For last week, and it'll be up there. And of course, right when I came on, everybody started coming by to try to visit with me. It's just the way it always happens. But
that was kind of fun because SMU allows me to. I mean, they really shouldn't give me that much access. I was just kind of wandering around the stadium and the field and checking the field and everything, and that was a tremendous comeback by the Bears. And I just can't help but think like how different this would feel if like they were sitting here 0-2 and that hadn't have happened.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, well, we desperately. I mean, again, you and I would have provided the energy, and we would have been fine, and but it would have taken more coffee. It would have taken more. Boy, and it's fun, isn't it, to be here at Camp Fimfo? This is a beautiful area. Come out. We're over here by Brazos Parking. In fact, they've got chorizo and I think some carnitas.
Oh, yeah.
Some wonderful breakfast tacos. I think Blake Blackmar's over there doing some things. And so come see us out here. And again, it's just Brazos Parking right across MLK from the stadium. And this is a nice set. And
The weather's
I
nice
feel
today.
like maybe, like the last time we were out here, there was a little bit more chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. I don't mind that. But I do feel like this feels like smoother and that kind of thing and everything. And you kind of see behind us traffic starting to show up. This is kind of they're easing into this on this morning. But I think within about an hour during this show, our whole area will fill up. We will not have the Auburn fans. The Samford fans may line up and have a few drinks, but they do it like in a special cup, or they don't want to do it in public. I think they're even more Baptist than the Bears. This is two Baptist schools getting together.
It
Is that correct? Yeah.
I
And did
believe
you
so,
say
yes.
fans can interact with us? Like
They
I
can,
am.
yeah.
Okay. I do want to hear their comments, and then our Twitter handles. They can
Yes.
they can also add us in
Yeah,
that regard.
please
At
do.
Matt Mosley.
Faith Lynch with 3
Yeah.
H's, all the things. But let's go ahead and get into Mosley's mind a little bit and dive into what Matt thinks is going to happen on the field. Talked about a little bit getting into that depth chart again, but we'll just dive into that segment, and I'll be here to answer your question.
Thank you, Faith. Yes, I'll be calling on you. Yeah, it's mesmerizing to look over there and see all the things you have on that screen. To go even 4 deep is what you're going, and the Bears hopefully Mosley's mind. I like to look at all these cameras. Alfred Anderson is on the set. That's going to be exciting right over there as we begin Mosley's mind. I mean, that is, and Faith, you brought him over today, and I mean, you talk about legendary. Yeah. And 8-year career with the Vikings. Vikings looked okay in a comeback fashion the other day, but boy, I mean, he is a man that was so great both here in Waco. He went to high school here, was a legend. And so that's going to be fun in our legend segment coming up. So I did want to tease that Alfred, hopefully we got Alfred something to eat. No, we'll hold off for just a second. And then Alfred, look at him. He's always ready. He thought he was being called upon. But as we continue Mosley's mind, Faith, I would just say some of the names you need to look for today from the Bears. Michael Turner, Kamar Morgan, the young man Knighton that we've been, we've already seen, but boy, maybe in more of almost like a leading role today. Clough is the last name you want to look for. Cluff is a freshman. They have recruited so well in 2025 that some of these guys are like ready to contribute immediately. And like today is their day.
Absolutely.
And with the red shirt rules and everything, in a game like this, you could get a ton of people into the game. And so I'm looking to see some of these backup quarterbacks, in fact. I mean, what you want is to play well enough where you really don't have to play Sawyer in the second half. Now, how do you balance, Faith, a Heisman campaign with the need to keep him healthy and keep him clean? Well, one way you do it, and by the way, it's like I want his numbers to continue to go crazy, but I also think today needs to be about fixing the run game. I think today needs to be about getting the offensive line, getting the O-line, whether it be double team blocks or some of the different things they're working on. They need to run. They need to have success. And if they run for 300 or 400 yards today, it's not like we're going to say, well, they for sure have it fixed, but maybe they could move in the right direction. And I just think this team so far this year has been so reliant on Sawyer that it is going to cause teams to stay back and not worry as much about the run. And so I think today is about unleashing. It's like get some of those young players into the game, but I think there's a balance because it's like I want Sawyer to keep putting up those numbers.
I agree. I think this is one of those games, as just a former athlete, of what our coach would always tell us of like, look, as a starter, as an upperclassman, today is your time to go out, start well, start hot, play clean football. So then you can have your guys behind you come in and do their thing and get more reps. You know, you'd love to see a redshirt freshman have 2 games under his belt before he gets to be here next year. You know, like you want to prep those guys, and you want to get them some game experience. And this is also a day you want to try new things. Talk about fixing that run game. We want to try new things this weekend to see if it works in a game like setting. You got to come out and play clean football. Back to kind of that fan vote a little bit of I want to see Baylor play maybe some perfect football, if you want, a little bit, starting out hot and then letting your guys come in and break the ice. I mean, I was a serving sub for Baylor volleyball, and so as a freshman, that was brutal of coming in there cold, never been in a game setting and expecting to make big plays. You want to get those guys in that setting and make them feel a little more comfortable on that football field.
Do we have any footage of those early moments of Faith's career? Could we tap into that just a little bit? Would like to see some of that. The shaking hand. So that was not a jump serve situation for you? Did you just come in? So, but to be that as a freshman, you had to be really good at serving. That had to be one of your strengths. But I bet there were games like the Samfords of the world. There were games or matches where you guys knew you were probably going to win big, and some of the freshmen or younger players or the depth, you got in there. And one of the things you got to make sure of is that you're not so stoked, right? You're not excited that you like overdo it. But what a tremendous opportunity against Samford today. And again, this needs to be a comfortable game.
Yes.
Now, you don't want to, like, you can talk so much about these things. Today, we're going to work on the run game. And Samford, we used to say they pay their players too. And it used to be kind of almost a joke about only SMU. Now everybody pays. And I would say Samford less than most.
Okay.
And I think there's still, man, at that level, at the FCS level, it's still like a love of the game type deal. For the most part, they're not getting, the huge Faith Lynch type NIL money that you had. But that's going to be, I just think when they get put on the stage, and unfortunately they got 2, and maybe it's good for Samford because they can make some money, but they have 2 money games this year. November 22nd, they'll be in Aggieland. So they got to play the Bears today, try to survive their conference schedule, and then they finish their season at Kyle Field with the Aggies. And I was just at Kyle Field recently. I may have sent a loved one down there. My daughter now going to Aggieland, unbelievably so. But I saw the UTSA team.
Okay.
And that's why Baylor, it's kind of, you got to beware a little bit of a team that has nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
And that's why, like UTSA in the third quarter of that game, it was 21-17.
Yes.
And they were hanging in there, and they had some big plays. Let me tell you about the Samford team. I can't tell you much about them. No, I can tell you a little bit. They actually, like last week, they got beat 40-13. They moved the ball like crazy. 5 turnovers. One thing I would really like to see is to eliminate what happened early against SMU. Deep ball, and I know we say, well, it went off the guy's hands. Well, didn't make the play. Then another play where the quarterback got outside the pocket and makes a deep throw. Like Samford is capable of hitting on a deep ball or whatever.
100%.
You have to try to eliminate that. So I don't know what exactly success looks like today, other than you just play extremely well.
Yeah, you just, as a Baylor football player today, you put on the blinders and you just play football. This is one of those games that you don't want to overlook. You don't want to think, oh, we're just playing Samford, relaxing today. I know I keep talking about volleyball, but that was just my world for forever.
Okay.
In 2018, Baylor comes out and beats number 1 UT, beats them, and then the next day plays UT Rio Grande Valley and loses in 3. So you go and you beat a massive SMU team, great win, still in that high.
Yeah.
You got to be consistent against this Samford team. You got to continue to play Baylor football and put those blinders on and just go for it. This is a game that I want to see our starters play for our underclassmen or play for our second string guys to get them some opportunities. And you just got to really you just focus. As a coach, these are one of those games that you just got to really trust your guys and think they're a mature team and can handle business. But also exciting, like you said, you're excited to see some new guys, some new faces, some new names. We're excited.
Yeah, and I apologize to Coach McGuire that Faith has to bring up such bad memories of
He'll get
of
over it.
a loss. I bet he's out there watching this morning. People kind of rousing, getting ready to come out to the stadium. All those coaches from other sports, and I know volleyball's in action right now. A lot going on. I was at a game. Oh, that SMU game. Like during the football game, the SMU volleyball team was playing at the exact same time. And I'm sure that happened to y'all, but I was just like, so weird. Like on campus, I mean, surely there's a way to avoid that. Planning a volleyball game at the exact same time the game's going on. And because you need some of those people from the boulevard who are out there, maybe have been overserved, those good Methodists, to roll on into the volleyball. And they played it at the exact same time. So lots to get to. And Alfred Anderson waiting in the wings. Scotty will give him the deal, and boy, he'll fire up here. You can just tell he's ready. He's ready to do it, and he's come in from the Arlington Mansfield area today, and we'll have to talk to him about it because he has a son who is now in 8th grade, and he is built very much like Alfred, at least tall like Alfred, but he's already 6'2" in 8th grade, and is playing running back. Probably, he wants to play receiver. But we'll talk more about him as the day unfolds. And by the way, you're the traffic cop. You're rolling this thing. So you tell me if we ever need to go do something. Yes. I'm just making sure I know which camera. Yeah. Oh, there.
I'm still figuring it out too.
Are you okay? But the sunglasses make it kind of difficult for me. But
kind of fogging up. I feel some humidity's kind of rolled in a little bit.
Yeah, I thought the humidity was kind of going away, but it's rough.
I think it's here.
I want to get back to this quarterback situation, the backup quarterback.
Yes, yeah.
But I did for Camp Finfo, where we are right now, this thing coming up November 7th and 8th. I was just talking about some of the powers that be with Camp Finfo, Brian, some of the guys, Braxton Keith, Tracy Bird, Chandler Pearson, and Dylan Carmichael. Faith, I know these names. Tracy Bird, that goes way back. And so I remember that name from a long time ago. You can find tickets for that at campfimfocampout.com. That's Camp Finfo, FIMFO, campout.com. They said if I would do that, like one of those breakfast tacos might arrive. Yeah. So hopefully at some point we could do that. Now, I did want to bring up, and I want to talk more about them. But sure. The Nate Bennett, the Walker White thing, let's get some of these quarterbacks in there, and even Ed Griffin, even a third.
Okay,
could you get 4 quarterbacks in this game? And as I say that, in the same breath, I was saying, let's show Samford proper respect. But I'm already talking about possibly getting a 4th quarterback into this game.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it is what it is. One of those things that you just kind of.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. You want that to happen. You want those things.
Yeah.
But when we come back, we will get more into this quarterback situation, what we're expecting from Baylor. 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. I'm Faith Lynch here with Matt Mosley. Come out and join us. We are at the Camp Finfo tailgate in the Brazos parking. Thank you to KWTX and all of our viewers for hanging out with us this morning, starting your morning with us and our Game Day Show. We're very thankful. And more to come from Faith Lynch and Matt Mosley from the Green and Gold Game Day Show.
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out gathercoremodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
At Hellberg, we've received accolades for our barbecue, but my real passion is in cultivating world-class culinary experiences that bring people together. We would love to cater your next event. You receive a fully personalized experience complete with a custom menu that's sure to impress your guests. And even though we're known for our barbecue, it goes way beyond that. We've done everything from box lunches to grilled oysters and whole roasted pigs. Basically, if you can dream it, we can do it. This is at the heart of what we do. This is Hellberg.
At Camp Finfo Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
I mean, yeah, a new coach comes in, they're going to turn the roster. I think that's just we've got all these transfer portal stats and what Dion did and what Fritz has done. I mean, that's that's the deal, man. That's the game that's being played nowadays.
Maybe a little bit unknown at quarterback. I mean, unknown to the rest of the world, but he dove into the portal and got a guy who is super, super athletic.
South Dakota State's really good. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what they can do and what Oklahoma State needs to be worried about.
Look at that form right there. I need to say nothing else about this because I found one.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge?
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
I'm Cole Posey, and I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and then over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
It's Green and Gold Game Day Show, and Faith Lynch, Matt Mosley here, Alfred Anderson. There he is in all his glory. That awesome shirt he has on. It's personalized. Says number 2 on the back. It's a hoodie, and you are looking at one of the greatest athletes to ever come out of Waco, Texas. Played in the NFL for almost a decade. Alfred Anderson joins the set. And Faith, we are in the presence of greatness.
We are.
He's made it up. He tried to kind of hold off on this, but I said, Alfred, I think we're parked. I may have even made this up. I said, I think our set's right next to where you're parking. I really was trying to catch him. And sure enough, we got him on his way over to the Letter Winners Association where he likes to hang out. And I sneak in there and get to hang out. Alfred, welcome to the set. And it's great to have you. And how are you today, sir?
Doing great, Matt. Glad to be here with you this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're usually talking at halftime of games, and you're in there in that comfortable air conditioning. Alfred, I've noticed that some of you guys, when you go in that Letter Winners organization, area, you don't ever end up back in the stands. Y'all seem to get pretty comfortable down there. Does that happen from time to time? I mean, with that air conditioning and everything?
Actually, it does. But I make it a point to at least go out the first half. And my son, but if it's too hot, like it was the first game,
yeah,
we couldn't wait to get back in because I was drenched with sweat all over. So yes, and sometimes we do go. My son want to go out and stay for the second half, but for the most part, we go spend time in the first half, and we go back inside and enjoy watching the game inside.
Now, Faith, nobody had the ability to go in from the 1 yard line, or actually, Alfred, sometimes you would take off from like the 3 yard line. Nobody, and Stockamer, who played with you and then a little bit after you, he liked to try to be like that. And he was a good athlete, and he tried to do the Alfred leap, but it was his signature. And he would, and even the great Earl Campbell and even Dickerson tried to do it. But he was a different style of runner, and you guys were contemporaries. But you were a quarterback in high school. When did the first up and over Alfred Anderson moment happen? Did you start figuring out that you were really good at that even in high school, or was it college? And the first time I really remember it was in one of those Texas Tech. It was muddy as all get out, and there goes Alfred over the top in a scintillating 11-2 win for the Bears out there in Lubbock, I believe it was. When did that start, and how did you know at a very early age that you could do that?
You know what? I didn't. But I credit all this to Coach Grant Taft. As a freshman coming into Baylor, he took me and Walter Abercrombie. So he showed us how to perfect that. And over the years, I perfected. And that's one of the things I love. Once we get down to one, I knew I was going over if the hole wasn't open. And so it was guaranteed, because once you up airborne, no one can touch you, can stop you as far as trying to run and bulldoze yourself into the end zone. So that's what we were taught at Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I perfected it and took it to the NFL as well.
And then, Faith, he played with a guy named Alan Rice, and the only issue was Allen would come in short yardage quarterback, okay? He was the other running back, and they were great friends and played together with the Vikings too. Cool. But Allen took some touchdowns away from Alfred, because Alfred would have had his senior year, and even along the way, there was one year Alfred probably could have had somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 16 touchdowns. I think he ended up with 10 that year. But Allen would get down there and get those short yardage touchdowns. Did that ever annoy you, or were y'all good enough friends where you were happy to see Allen get the score?
Well, I was happy to see Allen get the score. Matter of fact, he called me yesterday. So
really?
I had a chance to visit with him yesterday. But yeah, it was great to see him get it. But yeah, for the most part, I wanted the ball, to add to the career, the touchdown career that I had here at Baylor.
Yeah.
So
it's like Grant had this love of the short yardage quarterback situation. And then at some point, Matt Clark came in. He kind of played the role. Alan Rice played the role. And the truth is, you could have played the role because you were a quarterback. But, of course, they were too busy handing the ball off to you. But I would think sometimes, and we'll talk about this because I think we need to take a break here in a second. But, I want to talk about, you having been a great quarterback. I think an injury kind of kept you from continuing that. I think modern day, you might have ended up staying at quarterback. We'll talk about the legendary Alfred Anderson. We'll keep this going a little bit. Faith, back to you.
When we come back, more from Faith Lynch, Matt Mosley, Alfred Anderson. Thank you for being here. Thank you to our viewers on KWTX. We appreciate you. Stick around. And when we come back, more from our special guest.
Against Houston, I didn't mind him getting on his dude.
Yeah. Her dad.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to Dear Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Dear Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Dear Sports.
At Hellberg, we've received accolades for our barbecue, but my real passion is in cultivating world-class culinary experiences that bring people together. We would love to cater your next event. You receive a fully personalized experience complete with a custom menu that's sure to impress your guests. And even though we're known for our barbecue, it goes way beyond that. We've done everything from boxed lunches to grilled oysters and whole roasted pigs. Basically, if you can dream it, we can do it. This is at the heart of what we do. This is Hellberg.
365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day is made possible in part by Ascension Providence here in Waco.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast, coming to you from the Star in the players' meeting room with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus.
You now have two responsibilities this year that you didn't have last year, and that's being a first-time head coach and calling plays for Dak Prescott for the first time. But now we're doing something that we do annually. We get Stephen Jones's perspective on this football team and how it was built and what expectations should be.
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out gathercoremodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
Back to the 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. We are live from the Brazos parking over here. Come check us out. I am Faith Lynch here with Matt Mosley and Alfred Anderson. Thanks so much for joining us today, Alfred. We're excited to have you here. Get more into what you think Baylor football is going to look like this year compared to when you played a little bit.
I think they're going to look great. You know, the good part about it last year, they ended up, winning 6 games in a row, and that was perfect to get us ready for this year. And so I'm expecting them to do great things. I know we fell short the first week, but I look from here to the end of the season, finishing up strong. I'm sure Coach David Randall will do that.
Yeah, I mean, Alfred, they got to get the run game going, though. Yes. And Bryson Washington, I mean, I thought at the end of the SMU game, that was one of the good things they did on that last drive. And it reminded me of that great drive against TCU, that 61-58 game. Yeah. Even when you're desperately trying to get back in a game, every once in a while, it's good to mix in that run. I think they have a good tandem of running backs. But so far against Auburn and really against SMU, they haven't really been able to unlock it. Now, you've been to 2 of these games. I know you were at least watching that SMU game. Do you think it's more about the O-line needing to kind of get some chemistry going with those backs? Or are you seeing them miss a few things? What's the biggest reason right now it seems to be they're having a tough time getting this run game going?
I think they definitely have to, up front, get the momentum. We got to open up some holes so Washington can run. Bryce can run through the hole. If the running backs don't have a hole to get through, then it's going to be hard to run the ball. And we have to be a balanced team, football team, to be able to do the things that we need to do, which will open up the passing game for Sawyer Robertson. And so that's what we need to. That's what we need to do. If we can do that, establish that today against Samford, then we're going to be pretty good.
Faith, in addition to being a great running back, Alfred was a great high school quarterback. In fact, he was at one point considered a top 1 or 2 recruits in the country. And so he was the blue chipper before the blue chippers. Okay. All right. He played right here in Waco. And Alfred, as I recall, did you break your hand or something before you started at Baylor? I'm trying to remember exactly, or maybe it was early in your time at Baylor. And again, I don't know where your career ended up going to great places, but Alfred, take that if you want. I think that's probably Alfred's wife looking for him over there. But I mean, from what and again, maybe these things, we start to get some tall tales, we get better as we get older, but you truly in high school, could you throw the ball about like 75 or 80 yards?
I probably could. I never tested it out to see how far I could throw the ball, but I probably could at that time. Throw it about at least 70 yards. Yes.
Yeah. And in high school, did they let you throw it quite a bit, or were you running a lot? Or because it was before we even had the term dual threat quarterback, right? We didn't say athletes. We either said quarterback, a wide receiver. We didn't talk about dual threats. But were you truly in high school allowed to kind of do it all?
Yes, like I said, I was blessed to have a coach, Coach Tom Flood, the late Tom Flood, who came in and he told me, Alfred, you're going to be my quarterback. And I said, what? And that's all I needed to hear. And so we threw the ball a lot in high school. We had running backs, but we wasn't the big running backs. Sorry about that.
You're okay.
But we did throw the ball a great deal in high school. But yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then Alfred ends up with the Minnesota Vikings. I was amazed to look back last night, like your rookie season with the Vikings, 212 attempts. That was at a time, Faith, they were really easing people in. Rookies like Tom Landry, for instance, he really didn't trust. I mean, even Dorsett or players like that had to kind of wait their turn to a certain extent. What was going on with that team that they just said, okay, Rook, here you go, man. We're going to feed the ball to you like crazy? Because you had a great career after that, but you never had anywhere close to that many touches or that many carries the rest of your career as you did when you were 22 or 23 years old.
Yeah, what happened was, first of all, we had a coach, Les Steckles, strong Christian. And that's why he drafted Alan Rice and myself, because his faith and his belief. And so he came and gave me an opportunity. And I remember for his mini camp, he said, hey, Alfred, you're going to start. If you don't start, you're going to play a lot. And so he gave me that opportunity. So I ran the ball a great deal and also threw some halfback passes for touchdowns as well. And so that was it. Then after that, Bud Grant came back, and then plus they moved me to fullback. So I was more of a blocking back at that time. So that cut down on me getting the carries to run the ball. So
okay, it's just weird that you and Alan Rice end up with the Vikings. Abercrombie and Walter Gentry, we played with all those guys. They end up with the Bears. Were people like drafting Baylor people like in pairs? Basically, they're like they were really good together at Baylor. Let's get them here and just let them keep going.
Well, I guess they knew we had a good running back program here at Baylor University, and so at one point, I know of my rookie year, I think we were like the number 2 as far as running backs in the NFL during that time. So yes, they were looking at the Baylor running backs during that time. So that was awesome to hear that we were number 2 behind USC.
Well, we appreciate you being here, and I can't, in that SMU thing's about to come out, they're going to do another documentary, and like Dickerson and James and all those guys, it's going to be the comeback. But those were your contemporaries, man. The Pony Express and that SMU, I bet, brought back a lot of memories because those were incredible games between the Bears. One of those games made me mad. 82 or 83, they had that Bolden, remember the big tight end or whatever.
Yeah, Bolden came out with me. Yeah,
beat us 22-19. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
It's good. What do you think about Bryson Washington and some of these younger running backs? Like, what do you expect to see from them? And how do you feel like you want them to emulate their game?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing them have that breakout game like he did last year, run 100 yards. So it would be great to see him break 100 yards today. I think he will today. No question about it.
I love that. I think that's good. We'll hear more from Alfred. Thank you so much for coming on today. We appreciate you. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Thank you to KWTX and Green and Gold Game Day Show from Brass Landing Parking.
365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day is made possible in part by Ascension Providence here in Waco.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
I'm Cole Posey, and I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo. What started as meek and humble beginnings has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold and in over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
I mean, yeah, a new coach comes in, they're going to churn the roster. I think that's just we've got all these transfer portal stats and what Dion did and what Fritz has done. I mean, that's the deal, man. That's the game that's being played nowadays.
Maybe a little bit unknown at quarterback. I mean, unknown to the rest of the world, but he dove into the portal and got a guy who is super, super athletic.
South Dakota State's really good. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what they can do and what Oklahoma State needs to be worried about.
Look at that form right there. I need to say nothing else about this because I found one.
Welcome back to the 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. I am Faith Lynch. Thank you so much for tuning in with us on KWTX. Last weekend, it was an interesting weekend to be a kicker. Redshirt freshman Connor Hawkins for the Baylor Bears kicked a game-winning field goal in double overtime to help Baylor earn a 48-45 win over number 17 SMU. He also was able to pick up Big 12 Special Team Player of the Week as well as Big 12 Freshman of the Week. Baylor has had some pretty historic kicks. The infamous 61-58 game over TCU. I had the opportunity to talk to Connor Hawkins' high school coach, and Scotty was able to speak to John Mayers and Chris Callahan. We'll take a look at some of those interviews and clips.
It's awesome. We got a couple of players out there. I mean, that's the whole thing that's kind of special about what's going on right now. I don't know if you know, but Mason Shipley, he's at Texas right now. He was a former kicker too here at Liberty Hill, and now he's at Texas kicking. I mean, he was one of the ones that worked with Connor as well, kind of growing up, which was kind of a cool thing. I mean, it's kind of been a kicker thing that we've talked about the last few years here. I mean, from the Shipleys to Connor to Vi to we have Luke Bartow here as well. But it's funny because Bartow kind of sent me a text. He goes, "Hey, coach, it's a close game. Connor's out there." And so I changed the channel real quick and got to it. And it was kind of a cool thing to watch that kick go up and go through the uprights. I mean, it's special because, I mean, Connor's a special kid. I mean, you see it on the way he does his game day facing and all that. I mean, that's just him. You look at the cross he has. I mean, that's just who he is. I mean, he's a real even person. I mean, he's always Bible-centered, Christ-centered, and it goes hand in hand with what type of person he is when he's out there ready to kick. I mean, you just see it. He's a special kid, and I've always enjoyed being around him. Going through the years, I don't think he really had to be on the line as far as a game winner type deal. I don't think we ever experienced that type of thing here. But I can tell you that we always have that saying here that kickers are people too, because they sometimes get left out of things. We're like, hey, we always try to remind people that kickers are people too. I mean, they're going to mess up. They're going to make mistakes. But at the same time, I mean, Connor's that type of kid that he doesn't want to let his teammates down. And he's always focused on what he wants to get done, to where something does go wrong. I mean, he's kind of like, no, I want to make sure I get it done right. And so that's what's special about him. I think that's what sets him up for those type of situations when the game's on the line. You're getting ready to kick it for the win. Even if it's 27, 40-yarder, 50-yarder, I think he's always going to have his mindset in preparation-wise that he believes that he knows he's going to make it no matter what. And I think that's what's kind of special about Connor and the things that he's able to do as a kicker. I mean, because kickers sometimes get left out of the game. Sorry, but that's just the way it goes as far as kickers go. So, I mean, but like I said, that's just one of the things we always kid around with around here. We're like, kickers are people too. So, I mean, they're gonna have their days and they're gonna have their bad days when we go through practice. But at the same time, it's just like I said, it's just the preparation in order to be successful once he gets out there on the field. And Connor's that type of kid that he's that type of guy that just likes to take ownership of it and go out there and do what's best for the team to help his teammates be successful. Connor was very Christ oriented, which was, I mean, I enjoyed seeing that. I mean, it kind of helps me out too to know that we've got kids like that here. That because I mean, in the world that we're in right now, and the schools that we're in, I mean, it's so wishy-washy about all that type of stuff. But he's just the type of kid that he was there in the locker room. I mean, people were listening to their music, and he's there with his Bible, and he's reading, and he's kind of looking at his verses and all that. And I mean, that's what type of person he is. And I think that's what type of leader that he started. That's why I said, I mean, he's just grown so much in his faith. You just said it. You met him at FCA. I mean, he was that type of kid that enjoyed that type of stuff. He thrives on it. And I think that's what allows him to be that real at peace with himself when he's out there, knowing that, hey, I'm going to be fine once I get out there on the field. I know I've done my preparations. I know who's by my side. I know what's going to happen as far as that goes. And I think that's what's special about him is that he's able to kind of go, whoops, my lights went out. He's like I said, he's just that type of person that goes and does that. I mean, because he's so, like I said, he'd read his book and I'd see him in there, and it just makes me proud to kind of watch him. And I think our kicker right now kind of does the same thing, and I think it's just something that's kind of carried on as far as the tradition has gone. As far as the kickers who've come through here, is that they've, like our Luke Bartow right now, he has his Bible and he reads his readings every day before games and things like that. So I mean, it's just a neat thing to watch, because in the world that we're in right now, it's just so different that you don't see that as much. But it's, to me, I feel like it's almost needed as far as that goes. So that's why I think having FCA out there, I think that helps out a lot as well. And I'm glad to hear that Connor's still out there doing that, because he was here as well and he did that as well here. So I mean, it's just neat to see as far as that goes.
That was Carlos Garza from Liberty Hill High School, Connor Hawkins, special teams coach. Kickers are people too, which is something that I think I want to hold on to for a while.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I've always thought it takes a special person to be a kicker. I mean, you're in those settings for most of the time are going to be game-winning situations. You're coming off the sideline cold. You're not warm. You've been doing these practice kicks all game for 2.5 hours. Now you finally get to go actually do one. So I just think it's interesting. And I've been able to, kind of what Coach has said, talk to Connor a little bit. We led an FCA huddle together, which was really fun. He got to kind of share a little bit of his faith, and he actually won the starting job last year, which I don't think a lot of people know. He won the starting job and got injured, had a cut in the back of his Achilles tendon, and they kind of had to sit him down. We're like, hey, I know you think it's silly. It's a scratch in the back of your heel, but it was actually deep enough to where they were concerned about a tendon tear. So he, true freshman, wins the starting job and then gets sat down for your starting season. So he had, a lot of mental reflect, was able to prepare himself more as a Christian to be able to serve his teammates well. And then we go and see him kick a game-winning field goal against SMU last weekend. I mean, you can't ask for something better than from Connor Hawkins. So really sweet to be able to talk to his high school coach, and then be able to see what John Mayers and Chris Callahan say about that game-winning TCU 61-58.
A game-winning field goal. I mean, I'd say it's really about going out there and doing your job for your teammates, being ready. Obviously, it's very important to get the reps in the winter, in the spring ball, in the summer with and with the snapper and holder all through fall camp. So you've done it 1,000 times already when nobody's watching. So it becomes a lot easier when everybody's watching, and you can just block all that out and focus on the ball and put it through the uprights, and making the kick to help your team win, and do it all for God's glory. And then Connor specifically, I would say, obviously I was watching him on the sideline the whole game. I was obviously watching what's going on in the field, but I saw him kicking into the net and staying loose and make sure he's ready for any opportunity he gets. So it was good to see him as a redshirt freshman come in there and do a job at a big moment. So happy for him and happy for the team, and it's a great atmosphere on Saturday, and hope we can pull a few more of those this year. Second.
There's so much adrenaline and anxiousness when you're going into that moment and trying to visualize what you're going to do out there. As a kicker, in making sure that the operation is tight and on point. And fortunately, similarities between, my TCU kick and Connor Hawkins' SMU kick, certainly a shorter distance in range. And so you have a little bit of confidence. It's just getting the right angle. And he was a little left center hash inside the hash mark. I was right on the hash. But when you trot out there, you're trying to visualize, it's just you kick the snapper, the holder, and the ball. And you're just trying to visualize that ball immediately going through. And everything else, you're just trying to block out and kind of have those blinders on, if you will. And I remember saying earlier in the game to my wife, there was a play, or maybe it was a touchdown in the fourth quarter. I was like, man, we've got this game. And the similarity to that, to my TCU kick, was that after all the dust had settled after the game, I remember sitting down with some of my friends back at the house that I was living in college, and one of my buddies coming up to me, and he's like, guess, I told so-and-so that this was going to come down to you. And sure enough, it did. And so me saying that to my wife for the SMU game and watching it all transpire over the fourth quarter and really the whole game, having such a great comeback and ultimately ending it in a game-winning kick for Connor is going to be a special memory for him to remember beyond his college years and hopefully an NFL career for him. But more importantly, it's just a big personal accomplishment as a kicker to have that. So super important and super fun game this past weekend. Now let's take it to Samford this weekend. Go Bears.
I think that's perfect. I'm excited for Connor Hawkins just to see how he pans out as a player. I know he's already a big Christian leader on that team and for those guys. And so to have such a nice start to his redshirt freshman year, I think is huge. It should give him a lot of confidence and Baylor a lot of confidence to rely on him in those game-winning settings.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen this with Sawyer Robertson. We've seen it with Baylor athletes throughout. I'm sure athletes at other schools as well, but we know Baylor, right? That foundation in something other than what you do on the field
Absolutely
makes all the difference in that kind of calm-minded approach. It was great to hear from John Mayers and Chris Callahan, who've both proven it at this level and hit game-winning kicks themselves. The other thing I was going to say, I feel like bringing some levity to the situation. My father walked up while we were talking about kickers. Well, I told my dad one time, I said, Dad, I was probably 6-7 years old. I said, Dad, I'm going to play in the NFL one day. Because
why not?
What little boy doesn't want to play football in the NFL? And I said, Dad, I'm going to play in the NFL. And he looked me dead in the eyes. And my father, to his credit, has never lied to me. He looked me dead in the eyes and goes, start kicking.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't listen, and I should have.
Right.
But so great to see these guys. And, you said kickers are people too. We heard Coach Garza say that. Unfortunately, most people only care about kickers when they miss.
Yeah.
We just expect the extra points. We expect the 30-yarders to just go. But then when the game's on the line or it's like a 55, 60, all of a sudden we give them flack if they miss. Man, Baylor's got two good ones, by the way, because Connor Hawkins is great and Rhett Armstrong behind him is great.
He is.
So,
no, I agree. I think being a kicker, you just have to mentally front load so much. Like you go out to practice, you can only kick so much at a practice. So I think a lot of what they have to do is just, emulate that feeling of when I'm going in to kick a game-winning field goal, whether it's 32 yards, whether it's 23, whether it's 50, like creating that setting in practice and going through those motions of getting yourself hyped up of like, okay, the crowd's going, trying to emulate all of those surrounding things that are so impactful in that part of the game. I think they do a good job of that at Baylor's practice, what I've heard. To be able to set guys up like Connor Hawkins for success in those moments.
It's muscle memory, right?
Yeah.
Like when you were playing volleyball, how many times do you bump? Like, because it needs to be instinctual, right? Basketball players, you need to shoot free throws every practice because it's muscle memory. That basket is never going to move, right?
Yeah.
Field goal's a little different because the target does move depending on where you are.
Yeah.
But it's muscle memory. You line up, you take the same steps, you do it the same way every time. You try to strike the ball the same way every time. Kicking or punting, so important.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm excited for Connor Hawkins, excited to see what he gets to do for Baylor football. I think he has a lot more to show us just in his coming years, and what a better person to be able to emulate that for Baylor football. When we come back, I will be joined again by Matt Mosley. I am Faith Lynch. This is 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. Thank you to KWTX for tuning in, and we will see you back in a few.
class culinary experiences that bring people together. We would love to cater your next event. You receive a fully personalized experience complete with a custom menu that's sure to impress your guests. And even though we're known for our barbecue, it goes way beyond that. We've done everything from box lunches to grilled oysters and whole roasted pigs. Basically, if you can dream it, we can do it. This is at the heart of what we do. This is Helberg.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
I mean, yeah, a new coach comes in, they're going to turn the roster. I think that's just we've got all these transfer portal stats and what Dion did and what Fritz has done. I mean, that's the deal, man. That's the game that's being played nowadays.
Maybe a little bit unknown at quarterback. I mean, unknown to the rest of the world, but, you know, he dove into the portal and got a guy who is super, super athletic.
South Dakota State's really good. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what they can do and what Oklahoma State needs to be worried about.
Look at that form right there. I need to say nothing else about this because I found one.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge?
Yes.
To the bank today.
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge?
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Colin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
I'm Cole Posey, and I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and then over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
Is at Green and Gold Game Day, and Faith Lynch alongside Matt Mosley here, and a lot going on, Faith. We need to catch everybody else, people up on things. Folks are arriving. We're starting to see a lot of tailgaters, and hopefully this is a kind of a celebration of that SMU win, a fun day, not a close game, a blowout, and this is when a fan base needs to show up. And you need to have like great crowds, even when it's not like a huge Auburn or whoever in town. You need that kind of presence, and I hope it's that kind of crowd today. I hope they're lively and that the Bears get off to a hot start.
I do. I agree. I think we'll show up and show out today. We're gonna go ahead and check our fan poll. We have some results. They were really fun last week. I kind of enjoyed them, seeing what people were saying of, you know, what's going on, what they think. Today, they agree with me, Matt. The steak-free football,
okay.
52%. Our KW Tech viewers, they're on my team here, Matt.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good sample size. Convincing margin, 35%. Okay, mistake-free. I think that's good. And I would hope, I don't think we gave them the opportunity to fix the run game is one I wanted to add there. And so I think if we added that one, we would have a huge tally. The vote would come in because they need to fix. They need to have that so that Sawyer can continue to have his huge games. So people can't just load up and come after him. But I do hope they give him enough stats to kind of, all he needs today is 200 yards and 2 or 3 touchdown throws. And that just kind of keeps and I'll be the keeper of the Heisman watch. I'll just continue to watch that because, man, he's going to need help. He's going to need support from the university in terms of the PR and all that. And I think they're going to give him that. They're going to throw that behind him.
Yeah.
But the key thing is he just needs to keep playing. And if he's who he is as a player, and then America gets to see him do some more interviews, and I'd like to see them do even more of that in the coming days, man, they're going to fall in love with him. But I had a national guy on the other day, David Ubben, a longtime friend of mine from The Athletic, and part of the thing I was trying to do is kind of determine where Sawyer is on the national scene right now, and how, and it while he's there and he's starting to get mentioned like crazy. We got to remember it took Robert Griffin even that year that he won the Heisman. He had to do it week after week after week, and then he had to save the Bears against Kansas. There was a road game that could have gone the other way, and he had to lead a comeback. So it was very important.
Yeah, we'll dive more into it. We're getting all the signals over here, Matt. We're working with this. But thank you to our sponsors, Brazos Landing. Go out there and make Brazos Landing your post-game meal today. They have great food, lots of great fun. Make sure to check them out after the game. And when we come back, we'll get more into what we think the quarterback situation is going to look like, the run game, all the things. Stay tuned.
365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day is made possible in part by Ascension Providence here in Waco.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
I'm Cole Posey, and I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and in over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
I mean, yeah, a new coach comes in, they're going to turn the roster. I think that's just we've got all these transfer portal stats and what Dion did and what Fritz has done. I mean, that's the deal, man. That's the game that's being played nowadays.
Maybe a little bit unknown at quarterback. I mean, unknown to the rest of the world, but he dove into the portal and got a guy who is super, super athletic.
South Dakota State's really good. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what they can do and what Oklahoma State needs to be worried about.
Look at that form right there. I need to say nothing else about this because I found one.
.365 Sports.
I just love that intro. I'm fired up.
Yeah, my goodness.
Love it. I'm ready to run through a wall. Welcome back to the Green and Gold Game Day Show, 365 Sports. Thank you to KWTX for tuning in with us this morning. Faith Lynch, Matt Mosley. We're going to launch our Hour 3 fan poll. Get ready to get on your phone, QR code, all the things. Engage with us. We'll talk about it. What will the margin of victory be for Baylor today? 0 to 14 points, which is close. 15-27 points, kind of in that comfy range. 28 to 40 points, dominant game, or 41 plus points, perfection if you picked that perfect game. I think I already know your response on this one, but launching that poll, we get to hear from Pete Souza a little bit, the Big 12 wraparound, see what's going on in the Big 12. Matt, I'm excited to just talk about a little bit more football with you today. Kind of get going.
Yeah, we need to do that, and I think today is the day we get to see the Baylor depth.
Yeah.
But first, before we do that, why don't we actually see some of these starters have some success, get the pass rush going? The one thing they've done well at Samford, other than religion, is
We do that well.
I know. They may take it more seriously even than we do.
Come on.
But they have thrown the ball well, and they actually moved the ball last week against the Citadel. I could almost not do it with a straight face. I mean, I imagine the Citadel players in military uniforms and that kind of thing. But Citadel's an interesting place.
Yeah.
And it led to one coach back in the old SWC days being fired when Citadel beat Arkansas. Jack Crow, former Baylor offensive coordinator, was coaching at Arkansas, and that ended his time quickly. When the Citadel beat you, bad things happen, and the Citadel beat Samford. Now, I don't root for Samford at all, and I want them to lose by a lot. And if I were voting in this poll, which am I allowed to do that?
Oh, yeah, come on. We'll take votes.
Can I call into KWTX? I guess I'm on right now talking to them. Who's back at the place? They do a great job, by the way. This is fun. It is kind of halting on that beautiful monitor to see myself. It's kind of like Mosley should hold off on the Carnitos tacos. Okay, but the 41 plus point, that's one thing. That's the margin of victory. I'm choosing that.
Okay.
They need to get there, and they need to treat this team, this poor little Samford team, like Alabama treated ULaMA. University of Louisiana Monroe to some. That game was 73-0. And that was a coach who was he was struggling a little bit, and that was a big moment for them. And I'm not saying they got to beat them 73-0, but they need to come out here and make a big showing. Now, I understand is Pete getting involved somehow? I thought Pete was on the road.
No.
I thought he was doing a game today, but Pete Souza is never far away.
He is not. We get to hear from him and see what he thinks about the Big 12 wraparound a little bit.
Souza here with Big 12 Studios, of course, the Rogue Media Network and ESPN, and it's time to break down some of the Big 12 games this weekend. Just picking off a couple big ones and talking about some huge storylines. You have to start with Friday night. Kansas State and Arizona. That one is actually not a Big 12 game. It's left over from a previously scheduled engagement. Still, huge opportunities for both of these teams. Kansas State needs to recover and get up off the mat after that debilitating loss last week against Army. On the other side, Noah Fafita and Arizona, this is a team that could be for real. All those high expectations we had for the Wildcats and Brett Brennan's team last year, maybe they're coming through a little late. We're going to find out for sure if they have what it takes to beat Kansas State. Kansas State favored by, I think, 1.5 going into that game. We don't want to talk too much about spreads or betting, but at the same time, it gives you an idea. Arizona is right there with the Wildcats playing at home. The one that comes before that everybody will be watching, ESPN, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Colorado and Coach Prime in H-Town. Connor Wegman and Houston have been playing some really good football. They found a way to win against Rice convincingly last week, and in their first game of the year, I actually was there to call that against Stephen F. Austin. It was very clear that Willie Fritz is doing what he does when he's at the second year at appointments in college football as a head coach. Always turns the program around in that second year. I think things are underway and going swimmingly right now in Houston. If the Cougars can win that game, they will actually be undefeated for the first time in a decade. So that is a huge game for Houston. Another game that's kind of on my radar for a reason you might not think would grab a lot of people's attention, but it got mine. Baylor and Samford. Now, the reason I'm talking about that game, and I'll just talk about it quickly, Baylor started off the season against a Power 4 opponent, an SEC opponent in Auburn. What is now a ranked Auburn team, right? Baylor won last week, against SMU on the road. That SMU team is now ranked. Baylor's schedule so far, albeit just 2 games, has been a gauntlet. This is an opportunity for Dave Aranda and his team to catch their breath, for that defense maybe to work a little better on getting on the same page, making plays all over the field and being in unison talked to James Wessling from Big 12 Today and ESPN this morning, and we were chatting about how Baylor's defense, they're fast, they're strong, but it's chaotic right now. Dave Aranda implementing a lot of new schemes before the year. This is an opportunity. Would never call an opponent like Samford a bye, but Baylor hasn't gotten that chance to even catch their breath so far this season. So that's a big one for Baylor. Texas Tech, they are going to host Oregon State. The reason I want to bring that game up is because the 21st ranked team in the country, Texas Tech, has an opportunity here over the course of the next 2 weeks to really make waves and make a name for themselves all across America. This game will be on 2:30 Central on Fox. Big Fox, not FS1, Fox. The whole world will be watching. Then next week, right, big noon kickoff goes to Utah in Salt Lake City for Utah's game against Texas Tech. These are two of the best teams in the country right now, and of course the Big 12. These, again, 2 weeks for Texas Tech are huge, and it starts Saturday against Oregon State in front of a national TV audience. Utah and Wyoming, another game I wanted to talk about. Let's keep an eye on Utah. Can Devin Dampier handle business on the road against Wyoming? That's a tough place to play. You've got altitude. I know you also have it in Utah, but you have the scary environment of playing on the road in Wyoming. I've done a couple games there. It can get raucous. It can get intense. Keep an eye on that game. You don't want Utah to get caught napping. Pittsburgh and West Virginia, the backyard brawl. I was ready for this to be on College Game Day. I figured Pat McAfee might pull the card, and if West Virginia had beaten Ohio last week, that might be where we'd be. Well, unfortunately, things went differently. This is still a rivalry unlike any other. One more game to talk about. Arizona State at home, getting up off the mat after that debilitating loss to Mississippi State. They play Texas State. Texas State really scared this Arizona State team last year. The one thing I'm going to bet on, Sam Levitt's quote, "I ain't tripping." He's going to be back this week. I expect a big game from Sam Levitt, and I expect some great Big 12 football this weekend.
Welcome back to the Green and Gold Game Day show. So nice to hear from Pete Souza talking about a little bit of Big 12 football. We're going to talk a little bit more about SEC football. I think is what Matt is wanting to do over here with some matchups.
Whatever Matt wants to do.
You know, we're just in that season of, random teams are playing each other, Big 12. I think last week the slate wasn't as competitive as some people thought, but then it turned out being such a great week. So I'm hoping that kind of turns around the same thing. We have a lot of bigger SEC games this week, but Big 12 wise, would love to see the Big 12 take care of business and make it a fun slate for the Big 12. But
the Big 12 has at times embarrassed itself. It was so great for Baylor to do what it did. Iowa State last weekend, a couple of old rivalry type games that were going on. Some of the other stuff was really what Oklahoma State did. They really embarrassed the conference. They embarrassed themselves. 69-3. We got major hot seat alert for Mike Gundy there. And then, but some of the slate today, Iowa State, Arkansas State, they'll take care of business. Rocco Beck, they'll go out. Oregon State at Tech, that's interesting because the Beavers at times have been competitive. Not this year. They've gotten off to a really rough start, and Tech's favored big in that one. These SEC games do interest me, and I do have a daughter who goes to Texas A&M, although she's been raised as a Bear. And where is she today? She's at Samford, Baylor. She's here.
Good.
She's on the campus. She's made her way up from College Station. She's excited about that, to see the Bears get a big victory over Samford. But A&M going to Notre Dame tonight. Two great traditions. Notre Dame's actually, competing for national titles every once in a while. A&M doesn't really do that.
No.
But I would say I've put eyes on them, and I've seen them in person this year, and their speed is scary.
I agree.
I mean, they have, between Bussey, Craver, and a Casey Concepcion from NC State, really got a ton of speed. Marcel Reed, a little iffy, I think, at the quarterback, but I think that's a great matchup tonight at Notre Dame, a place where, have you been there?
I have
you been to a game there?
No.
Yeah, you would love it. You would love
Would
it.
I?
Yeah, you would love doing a pregame right there. I don't think we'll have that opportunity this year, but yes.
Next year.
Touchdown Jesus, the whole thing. But that's going to be a great game, as well as some of these other SEC games. But we've got a lot more time to hit on some of this. But I think tonight's going to be a fun night of college football.
I agree. No, I agree. I think you also have Florida LSU, which is going to be another great game. DJ Lagway is happening tonight, 6:30. So that'll be fun. But we will hear more about that when we come back. Matt's favorite time of the show, going to break. Thank you to some of our sponsors that are with us. Ascension Providence, making that your hospital. I talked a little bit about that last week. I don't have team doctors anymore. So I have to figure out, when I get sick, what do I do? So visited them. But make sure you make them your hospital. And when we come back, we'll talk more about SEC football on the Big 12 show. Hello, guys. Welcome back to Dear Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Dear Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Dear Sports.
At Hellberg, we've received accolades for our barbecue, but my real passion is in cultivating world-class culinary experiences that bring people together. We would love to cater your next event. You receive a fully personalized experience complete with a custom menu that's sure to impress your guests. And even though we're known for our barbecue, it goes way beyond that. We've done everything from boxed lunches to grilled oysters and whole roasted pigs. Basically, if you can dream it, we can do it. This is at the heart of what we do. This is Hellberg.
365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day is made possible in part by Ascension Providence here in Waco.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast, coming to you from the Star in the players' meeting room with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus.
You now have two responsibilities this year that you didn't have last year, and that's being a first-time head coach and calling plays for Dak Prescott for the first time. But now we're doing something that we do annually. We get Stephen Jones's perspective on this football team and how it was built and what expectations should be.
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out gathercoremodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
Welcome back to Green and Gold Game Day. Scotty Spingler, Faith Lynch, Matt Mosley. We're here live across the street from McLean Stadium, getting excited for Baylor Samford. Now, we were joking during the break. It is a little difficult, let's just be honest, to get excited for Samford. But I'm here to tell you what's going on.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, you're pumped about this one, huh?
Yes.
Matt? Yeah. Let me tell you about the Samford Bulldogs, what's going on with them so far. I'm sure several fans aren't familiar. Here's a breakdown of what Samford has done so far this season. They have played 2 football games. They are 0-2. They lost to West Georgia 34-3. They lost to the Citadel 40-13. Overall, they have scored 16 total points.
Let's go to the highlights.
They've scored 16 points this season. They are averaging 2.4 yards per carry.
Nice.
They have turned the ball over 8 times.
Yeah.
Now, I present this not to crap all over Samford,
Okay.
although
Poor choice of, but
it's,
go ahead.
it's okay, Matt.
Yeah.
this is the please bear with me vibe now. Not to just talk bad about Samford, but to present, as we said in hour one, this is an opportunity for Baylor's defense to get on track. If you can't fill gaps, make tackles against a team that's averaging 2.4 yards per carry and turn the ball over 8 times against West Georgia and the Citadel, what are we even talking about Big 12 championships for? So, again, I don't mean to make this opponent preview all about, well, Baylor should absolutely shut out this team. But, guys, like, they've scored 16 points all season against West Georgia and the Citadel. Baylor's defense has to look sharp today.
I agree, and I would love to see them come out, stop the run. This quarterback's been sacked a lot for Samford. I mean, if I'm going to try to make Samford just look a little bit good, let me just say this. Against the Citadel, against the solid Citadel team, they move the ball like crazy. They've thrown it both games for over 300 yards. They just can't put it in the end zone. Both of those losses, the ones you just detailed, 35-3 and 40-13, I believe came at their place. Samford hosted those games. The poor Samford fans.
What do you think attendance was at both of those games?
I don't know. I mean, they said it was a good crowd. I don't know what that means at Samford. And I don't know. Maybe they had a good, CCM artist after the game or something.
Oh, my gosh.
Lauren Daigle.
Hey, she was here in Waco last
Hence
night.
why I said her name. That's right.
That was cool.
It was cool.
Wait, where did she
Here
perform?
At Foster.
Okay.
Very cool.
I need to be hearing Faith right now more than I'm hearing her, by the way. But Daigle, she's good. I recognize her. And she used to sing with somebody named like James Bay, and they would do some things together, like at award shows. Yeah, James Bay, he's kind of a soothing gentleman. But yeah, that's good. I'm glad she was in town. I wish I'd have known that. I would have tried to stop by.
I know you probably were not in attendance, but I was at the first concert at McLean Stadium.
Oh yeah,
I was able to go.
The Oklahoma boys.
Yeah, Oklahoma boys. I know.
Red
Reggie,
Dirt something.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. Sorry. The Turnpike Troubadours. They were there.
CCR was there.
Yeah, CCR. Pat Green made an appearance. Randy Rogers Band made a fun appearance.
Waco's
really
own
cool.
Pat Green.
First time alcohol was sold in McLean Stadium. I know, hot button topic, but it did happen. There were fans there. It was quite the environment. I thought it went very well. I wanted to be at the concert just to say I was in the first concert at McLean Stadium. Very cool. But anyways, back to
No, that's okay.
college football.
I think that's better than trying to break down Samford.
Is it?
No,
But let me throw this out there just so we don't hate completely on Samford. The president of the university was Baylor grad. Did y'all know that? He went to Baylor, was an econ major. I think also got his master's here. So the president of Samford was a Baylor alum. So at least they're doing
Do
something
we have
right.
a name?
In
I
that
probably
regard.
went to school with the person.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look up.
He's actually very young, Matt. But not to
I don't know what that
age you.
means.
Whoa, not to age you.
Shots across the bow.
Are you saying he graduated like in the 2000s?
Yes.
And he's already Samford is just going with inexperience. They're going way too young at that position. No, I'd like to know who that is, but we do have some presidents across the country. And of course, we have a great president here who played athletics and played basketball at Oklahoma State back in the day, President Livingstone. Let me just say this about Samford. I did listen to their coach a lot. And the only thing that would worry me a little bit in hearing him talk is just the haymaker factor. The fact that the Baylor game and they have A&M later, this teams like that, like this is what they live for. And so early in this game, is this the guy's name that's the president, Beck Taylor? Is that him?
Oh yeah, Beck
Okay.
Taylor. I'm trying to find how old he is
President
when he
Taylor.
graduated.
He looks way older than me.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Yeah, he does.
That guy looks.
No.
That's the spirit.
That's
Mose.
either a.
He
he's
took
a-
office in 21.
Yeah,
He's
well,
the
that-
19th president of Samford
That
University.
means nothing to me.
Does
But
it? All right,
no, that's okay. But no, Faith. A little bit about Samford though. They have been good in the past. They have been they've been a quality FCS team, and for a lot of these players, these moments, these money type games where they come and they pick up a check, which helps their program in a big way. And they're going to do one later this year at Kyle Field. A team like that, early, they do try to cut loose and do some crazy things. This is an interesting little matchup, too, because Mason Miller, the O-line coach for the Bears, for Baylor, played with this coach.
Yes.
And this coach's last name, I think, is Hatcher. First name, Chris Hatcher, I think. And he played quarterback with Mason Miller. And Mason Miller was an offensive lineman. And this is that How Mummy Tree, Valdosta State. They come straight from that. And so, believe me, they will get off the bus trying to do something, and so to Scotty's point from earlier, though, it's just the Bears need to just be dominant early, set the tone,
yes,
get a couple of touchdowns, get them takeaway or two, and then what are we looking for this defense to do this year that they haven't done so far? First of all, just hold anybody out of the end zone, right? And then, Scotty, what was is it from a score? It's not scoring, it's
Run
like
fit.
yardage. Well, but yardage, they're like, you came up with a stat. It was like 131st out of 136.
Yeah.
You have a chance to change that today.
Yeah, Baylor is the 131st out of 136 defenses in the country.
Jeez.
It's not good.
No.
That includes group of 5, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
But it is the Fobbs White, whether it be, I mean, I know they've been banged up on the defensive line, but doesn't it feel like right now we're still going to be saying that like 6 weeks in? Like at some point, whoever you're putting out there, whether it be Kalu, whether it be whoever's setting the edge, at some point you have to roll with some folks and go. Carl's back in there at safety. Carl Williams, he bit on a bad fake last week. They hit him on a deep ball. But to me, this is the kind of game you start to find your swagger. And you go, well, who cares if they get sacks against Samford? I promise you, if somebody goes off today and gets pressure from the middle of this defensive line or gets off the edge, that can be kinetic. That can have an effect in coming weeks against Arizona State if somebody gets hot today. But, one of Scotty's favorite players that he brings up from those early anything rule, he gets very excited about. But like Taylor Young is a player we bring up because he was a bridge player from the Bryles years who hung around, and he kind of set the tone for Rule early in Rule's time. Like, some of these players have to start doing this for Dave Aranda, because one of the things you can't do is be a great team and be a great head coach when your own defense that you call is letting you down week after week. And, let's be honest. That is what is happening.
We got to throw it to a break. We'll be right back on Green and Gold Game Day.
Glad you built your boat. Are they locked?
Welcome back to Deer Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Deer Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Deer Sports.
At Hellberg, we've received accolades for our barbecue, but my real passion is in cultivating world-class culinary experiences that bring people together. We would love to cater your next event. You receive a fully personalized experience complete with a custom menu that's sure to impress your guests. And even though we're known for our barbecue, it goes way beyond that. We've done everything from box lunches to grilled oysters and whole roasted pigs. Basically, if you can dream it, we can do it. This is at the heart of what we do. This is Hellberg.
365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day is made possible in part by Ascension Providence here in Waco.
At Camfinfo Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast, coming to you from the Star in the players' meeting room with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus.
You now have two responsibilities this year that you didn't have last year, and that's being a first-time head coach and calling plays for Dak Prescott for the first time. But now we're doing something that we do annually. We get Stephen Jones's perspective on this football team and how it was built and what expectations should be.
Hey, if you're watching on KWTX in Central Texas, thank you so much. Want to invite you over to Green and Gold Game Day on YouTube. Subscribe. We've got 30 minutes of the show left, actually, and you're going to miss it if you stay on KWTX. So come over to YouTube, Green and Gold Game Day, and we are about to break down what the Bears have to do in this game. And can Sawyer Robertson win a Heisman? Come over to Green and Gold Game on YouTube. We'll see you over there. Thanks so much for tuning into KWTX for Green and Gold Game Day. Really appreciate you. Faith Lynch and Matt Mosley, it is time to set up this game. Bear Essentials. What does Baylor have to do today? We've talked a lot about the opponent, about the defense, about some things we saw in the last 2 weeks. What are you looking for in today's game?
I'll say my piece before we get to Matt over here talking about this run game that we've been talking about. I agree. I think run game, whatever. Last week we did run the ball. We just did not run it well. We did try. we did. I can confidently say I feel like Spav is trying to give people what they want. He is running the ball. It's happening. We're just not doing it well. You know, we're running the ball for 2 yards. That's just not attainable. It's not feasible. It's not going to make progress for the Bears. You're not moving the needle on doing that. So I think if we run the ball well, I think I would love us to change our verbiage to run the ball well. I think we are trying to run it, but doing it well and creating holes defensively. I love Jacob Redding. I want to see more of him. I love him. I think he's making plays. I'm a big story girl, so I love him being a walk-on, then creating a name and creating a story for himself. And he's just a cool guy. He's cousins with a girl that I lived with forever, so I'll throw that out there. Shout out to the Coggills. But that's what I would love to see. Keys for Baylor winning this football game today. Would love to see our defense run the ball or block well and then to run the ball well. Matt.
Who is the cousin? I'm just trying to keep up with the Cogdills. I'd like to hear more about that family.
Mark Cogdill. He played football at Baylor. Also played baseball. He was a K-Sig here at Baylor. I know. Don't get Matt started on the K-Sigs, but his nephew is now the Baylor football team and
That's
Jacob
nice.
Redding. So it's nice, you know.
There's a good chance. There's an opportunity that I know him, and I do kind of remember that. So, and those are good things. And I'm with you. I love what I was hearing this week from one of the Sirakis. I think it was the elder Siraki. Yeah. I like that they got the other kid though. Caden, Colton, they're getting them all in there. And then today, to me, Faith, and I like that. I want to run. This week, they were working on their double team blocks like crazy. This is a glorified scrimmage. This is like an exhibition. But you got to do what some of these SEC teams do. Because they use these weeks to not only get healthy. I heard Scotty talk about that this week, and I think that's important. Rest who you're going to rest.
Yep.
But the guys who actually come out here and play, what a huge opportunity. The name I keep hearing, Faith and Scotty, Clough.
Yeah.
Like a freshman, some of these offensive line, Tompkins, like these guys that are going to be the future starting guards. Like Clough right now, the way I'm hearing it, could be like the backup left and right guard. Now, they could move the center. They could move the Siraki brothers around a little bit. But, they have freshmen who are ready to play a little bit. And today could be an opportunity. So you want to get them in the game. And then, guys, some of these skill players that we heard about before the season, like Porter. from Lorena. And it's like, if you're going to tell me Jaden Porter is an NFL guy, I need to see it on the field at some point. And the great thing about today is some of these players who you're trying to preserve a red shirt, this is a great game to get them into.
Yes.
You still have, again, they changed college rules now on a weekly basis, but I think you still have 4 games they could play in, and you could still preserve the red shirt. So who are some of these other guys? I want to see Taz at some point. I want to see Taz Williams, who was getting very close to being 100% in fall camp, maybe at 100%. He's the future. He's part of the future. I want to see Ja'Cory Watson. And these tight ends, if Trigg's going to be out, which I'm almost certain they'll rest Trigg again. Why wouldn't they? But let's throw to these tight ends. The Klopper himself, 85 was out there, right? And they were splitting him out and trying to use him. You might have to throw it to him at some point. Throw it to the Klopper. Kelsey Johnson, who shows up in a number 12. Of course, I knew him as like a number 87. Yeah. I knew him as a bigger man. And in 12, people look smaller and they look thinner. And I thought, well, there he is. There's a guy I used to really like. I still have flashbacks to the guy who went to TCU. Drake, what's his name? Dabney. Remember him?
Dabney,
I love that guy. And he left us. He left us to go to TCU. But this is an opportunity to develop some of those guys that we've known in the past, and then some of these young guys. And by the way, we can't name right now a single pass rusher for Baylor that we would go, great, this guy, he's amassing sacks, or he's putting constant pressure on the quarterback. It's happened sporadically. It's happened occasionally. Why don't we come out of this game with somebody hitting the quarterback? This guy, Crittenden, I've followed his work for a long time. He's been sacked 8 times this season. That needs to go to about 15 after today.
Yeah.
Sack him. And I think you come out of this, I say a minimum of 4. I think you get home, you get 4 sacks, or at least put tons of pressure. Let's put the Micah Parsons pressure. And then I'm anxious to see, who is that for Baylor? Who comes screaming off the edge? Is it Lance? Is it Fobbs White? Is it Keaton from his linebacker spot? Who is going to come in there and make the quarterback uncomfortable? As an NFL guy said one time, I should have done this on TV, guys, by the way, earlier today when we had the opportunity. But you have to affect the quarterback.
Yeah.
And that was right around the time the Saints were getting in trouble for bounties and a bunch of weird stuff. But they said, you have to affect the quarterback. And I would say so far this season, Bears have not really done that. So why not? If you got an inferior team and an inferior quarterback, at least compared to the 2 you've played, you better make that happen today.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, we've talked about all the guys that could rotate into this game, right? All the players that could get time, that need time, like you said, and preserve a red shirt, get reps. Because reality is, regardless of the skill level of these players for Samford, hitting someone else always feels better than going to practice. These reps are better than anything you can do in practice, even if you're playing just Samford, right? But the other thing is, and Pete talked about this when he had his bit, this is an opportunity for these guys to build confidence. And I know, football is so much, we talk about this with the kickers, but I think it's true for all football positions. It's so psychological. You do a rep the right way. You do the rep a right way against an opponent. You do the rep the right way against an opponent and then get a sack. Your confidence goes through the roof. It doesn't matter who you're playing. And so that's where Baylor was almost hampered, I think, Matt, and where it's so great to schedule an Auburn and an SMU in your non-conference because, heck, if Baylor wins 10 or 11 games, that helps your playoff resume tremendously that you've played those teams. But they haven't had an opportunity to really, feel themselves, smack that quarterback around a little bit yet. They haven't won all those battles. So you get in there today, you win those battles, you win those matchups, you execute the right way. And I think we could see a completely different team next week against Arizona State than you saw this week against SMU. On the other hand, I don't want to pretend like this is highly likely, but crazier things have happened in the game of football. You come out and start slow a 3rd week in a row against Samford, and the opposite could be true. Suddenly there's way more questions than answers.
Yeah, and we would hate that scenario, but I agree with you. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they've come out flat against an inferior opponent. I don't think much, Texas State has the kind of talent, even like teams like UTSA, that could actually make you pay if you played like that. This team, famous last words. You can't lose. It's impossible to lose to Samford.
Don't say that, Matt. Don't put it out there.
I'm putting it out there.
Oh, no.
Now, the one thing I favor Samford on, I still like a good full immersion baptism. And I think the moderate Baptists that we are at Baylor have kind of become okay with some sprinkling and, just some pouring.
Changing the name of the show. Theology Talk with Matt Mosley.
Yeah, holy smokes.
I think the Samford kids still love to go to dunk it all the way. And I think the moderates, we've decided that we can just kind of, even at my church, it's like, just put your hand in a thing of water. It's like, that should not count.
Matt, what are we talking about?
I think this is the best part of the show.
Is it? All right. Let's talk about
Scotty's favorite. Scotty's a big theology guy.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about some of these quarterbacks, because if you look at our Baylor depth chart that I have pulled up that Matt has loved to look at as well.
Oh yeah. Can you enlarge that? That's not that print's not big enough
all
for
right.
me.
So we have Sawyer Robertson as our starting quarterback. We have Nate Bennett, Edward Griffin, and then Walker White.
There's an or
There's
after
all those
all
There
the
is the ors, but I believe if you're going to put it on a sheet and you're going to rank it, you're putting it on there. Why would you not put Edward Griffin before Nate Bennett? You know what I mean?
Let me
I
tell
think
you,
someone's looking at this and
this is Scotty's favorite 3 players on the team, because this is how Scotty thinks.
No, my favorite one is still playing at Liberty Christian, but go on.
Well, that guy too. Nate Bennett, Edward Griffin, and Walker White. Those are his 3, because he falls in love. He does not guard his heart with backup quarterbacks.
I'm pretty sure I was advocating for Sawyer Robertson against Terrence Ganaway on my own podcast this past Sunday, but go ahead.
I don't know what that was about. I mean, and that I would like to hear more about that podcast someday, and where I can I can find that.
we should clip that next time.
Is anybody? Can we advertise that more?
Blair with me.
Yeah,
please.
AC Bear, right? Okay, and is there like a play on words or something? I think this is fun because, man, so many legacies around here. Faith's parents went here. Nate Bennett's parents were here right after I was here. Lots of those things going on. But the fun thing about Walker White, when we see him today, the size. Can he impose? What's that going to be like? Is he going to run a little bit? Will they let him throw? Are they going to be too much? But I mean, I'm just like Scotty. I remember some of these guys when they were making their decisions.
Yeah.
And that was a big when he decided to go to Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching the little thing on 24/7 or whatever, where he made his announcement, and he chose to go to Auburn, and now he is a Bear. Maybe we'll get to see him today.
Really quickly, we've got some words from James Westling. He's on the call today for ESPN Plus. Let's throw it to him and see what he thinks we're going to see in today's matchup.
Baylor football team is really good. I think people are sleeping on them and their win at SMU. I mean, they just beat a team that played in the college football playoffs in their house last Saturday, and I don't think it's getting the attention that it deserves. That was a really big win for Baylor and a really big win for the Big 12. Dave Aranda and the coaching staff deserves a tremendous amount of credit for scheduling in the way that they have. Opening the season against an SEC team, playing week 2 against kind of a low-key rival, a team that was probably better than they thought they'd be when they scheduled that game. And then the tune-up game this weekend, and then Arizona State to open Big 12 play. Like, if they win 9 or 10 games, they will be in the conversation for a college football at-large berth if they don't win the Big 12 because of how they've scheduled. I think they're really dynamic offensively. I was a little bit worried before the season when they lost Dawson Pendergrass, their backup running back, because Washington wasn't used to toting the ball 20, 25 times a game, and they're nothing but freshmen behind him. So that is still a little bit of a concern. But with the way Sawyer Robertson is just balling now, like 3 straight games dating back to last year, over 400 yards passing. There hasn't been a Big 12 quarterback to do that since Patrick Mahomes in 2016. Like, he is playing on a whole nother level that, again, I think deserves more attention nationally than maybe it's getting. My concern with Baylor is defensively. without Marshall. I don't think he's going to play. There's no official release yet because this isn't a conference game, so the weekly availability reports is not a requirement in the non-conference. But he's questionable against Samford. I mean, he's their guy on that defensive line. And I think Dave Aranda's defenses are so complex. You know, he's incredibly surgical in the way that he schemes his defenses. I think it takes time for them to kind of settle in. So you factor that there was no preseason for Baylor, opening up against Auburn, opening up against SMU. Like, they're only going to get better defensively. And then all of a sudden you've got a well-rounded football team that's very much a contender in the Big 12. Baylor had one of the largest portal classes in the league, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So when you've got 8 returning starters and then you're adding 13 transfers to that side of the ball alone, it's going to take time. And I'm with you. I mean, you watch the Baylor defense, and it is fast and it is free, but it's chaos, and it's not yet organized chaos. It just looks like guys are running around the field all over trying to recover from misaligned mistakes or communication breakdowns. And against teams like Auburn and SMU, that's going to really hurt, and it's going to show on the scoreboard. But against Samford, you know, they'll just be so much bigger, stronger, faster. That's a game for them to kind of clean up some of those mistakes before they get Arizona State. And then after that, it's Oklahoma State. Their quarterback situation's very up in the air. Their ground game's been a non-factor. Kansas State, who knows, with their left tackle out now for an extended period of time. They still don't have Dylan Edwards, their star running back. Like, I look at Baylor's schedule and just seeing how much improved they got defensively last year after they started 2-4, and I'm still really high on this team.
James Westling joining us on today's call. Make sure you watch if you're watching at home. James does a great job. He's pretty optimistic about these Baylor Bears, obviously, and I think we're pretty optimistic about today. Matt, the only thing I'll say, you were mentioning the backup quarterbacks earlier. Faith brought that up as well. I did not like Dave Aranda's answer in the press conference. He was asked about this, and he said something to the effect of, and this is not a quote, but something to the effect of, well, you know, with one guy we can kind of throw it, and with one guy we can kind of run it.
And, yeah.
So we've got options. And what I wanted to hear him say is, well, any of these guys can do all of it. So my question is, Matt, I would expect Walker White to be the first guy off the bench. That would be my expectation. May not be reality. But my question is, if Walker White comes into the game and can't complete an efficient percentage of his passes against Samford, it's almost the same thing I was saying about the defense. If you can't hold Samford under 10, you really have issues. That's worse than what you did against SMU. If Walker White can't complete some easy throws against Samford, we'll know, oh, that's why there's a bunch of oars on this depth chart. Now, I'm optimistic. I think he'll play great. But I didn't like that answer from Coach Aranda earlier in the week.
Well, maybe just, you know, wanting to keep Samford off balance with the personnel he's going to be bringing in. You know, what's funny is you just mentioned the two. Now, the only thing I would disagree with, I do think Nate Bennett will be the first guy off the bench. We'll put a little something on that for the Mosley show this week. And then I think the quarterback that Dave Aranda is most in love with, other than Sawyer. Now, Sawyer is obviously at the front. Whatever happened to Finn, by the way? Is DeQuan Finn playing somewhere this year?
He's playing at Miami.
Have y'all looked?
Miami, Ohio.
Okay. I wonder how he's doing.
I only saw the results from his first game, and it wasn't pretty.
Mixed results?
Oh, worse.
Okay.
It wasn't pretty.
I think the quarterback of the 3 backups, and there's another one listed.
Let me get your depth chart here over here. Here we go. Edward Griffin and Kate Tessier.
Not Tessier. I'm just making that up. But honestly, I'd move him to tight end today. Look at that size, 6'4", 225. I'd get the quarterback label off him, line him up out wide. No, I think that Aranda loves Edward Griffin more than everybody except Sawyer. There's something about that kid that has captivated this coach.
He won a lot of games at Coppell.
I saw one of them in the playoffs against our high school team, and he is extremely, extremely efficient. And so there's some things they love about him. Wasn't that fun, by the way? I have a hard time. Like, I know sometimes people, when quarterbacks leave and they're no longer with Baylor, I think it's kind of like if you're if you're not with us, you're against us or something.
Right.
And I don't really ever have that thought. I kind of like to see what's Ozino up to. Well, he's like the third string at A&M now, but I liked watching him at UAB. I like watching Gary was at BYU, and before that at South Florida. And I love seeing Blake Shapen
Oh my gosh,
get a win at Mississippi State,
Dude.
because Blake went from kind of the hero to kind of like very mixed to kind of like, I think really, really lost a lot of confidence and just didn't have it going.
Yeah.
And everybody was kind of like, good riddance was a little bit of the way when he was heading out. I mean, that was really what it's like. Get into Quan Finn. Let's see what we got here. And to see him have some success and them get a big win against Arizona State.
Yes.
I love seeing that. Him have that success.
I think that's one thing that's kind of disappointing maybe is a little of like, I feel like the Baylor fan base kind of turned on Shapen a little bit. You know, you go and you win our 21 Big 12 championship for us. Like you go and do those big things and then you kind of start a rough season the next year. Baylor fans, I don't think we did a great job of maybe supporting him and like helping him be his great. Did you get to see his post-game interview after? Did anyone see that? No. Holy smokes. He was so overwhelmed, and I think he was trying to get off camera as fast as he could.
Oh, really?
The poor girl, of course, I'm just eyes glued to the screen on stuff like that, but the poor girl was asking him questions, and he was just, I can't talk right now. I can't even think right now. I can't even talk. And as he's getting absolutely swarmed by Mississippi State fans as they've rushed the field, tore down the goalpost. But no, I don't know, Matt. Maybe I have a different opinion than you on that. I love to see people go do great, sure, after Baylor, but also I'd love to see people stick around and fight through the trenches on the Baylor stuff.
Speaking of Shapen's backup quarterback in 2023. Is now Baylor fans push for the Heisman Trophy. And so I wanted to kind of cap off our time together today by talking about that. Now, Baylor's spoiled. We've had a Heisman winning quarterback on campus before. That's not true of most college programs. So we have seen that it is possible for a 10-win Baylor team to have a Heisman winning quarterback. My question today, as we get ready for kickoff here in 11 minutes, are we overinflating Sawyer Robertson to think that he is a legitimate candidate for the most prestigious award in the sport? Or is this legit? And by the way, he's leading the country in passing, despite playing an SEC team who's now ranked and an SMU team that was ranked when they played. Today, he might put up 400 yards in 3 quarters, Sick 'em Bears. We love the fans. Come by Camp Info and see us.
Guys, if you'll hold it down a little bit.
But that's you're banging on the desk, and it's way early, but like Sawyer.
Wow. Well, okay. Producer Grant wants to go to Roy Philpott. Let's just do it. Pete Souza had Roy Philpott, ESPN play-by-play commentator for almost 2 decades now, and let's see what he had to say about Sawyer's Heisman case.
I protest.
You're banging on the desk, and it's way early, but like Sawyer Robertson's numbers against a now ranked Auburn team and an SMU team that made the college football playoff and was ranked at the time. He is almost unblemished at this point when you look at his numbers and the way he plays and, leading his team back to a victory. And this goes all the way back to last year. You saw him in the bowl game against LSU. I know you liked him then, but you kind of have a more 30,000-foot view than someone like I do, right? Like, what do you think realistically a guy like that needs to do to be in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy?
Win games and win bigger games. I didn't really love, and I think I texted you about this before the start of the season, I didn't love the matchup with Auburn right out of the gate, especially at the line of scrimmage. And look, Baylor had a chance in that game, and there were opportunities. It wasn't the best start just as a team, but then next week and last week to be able to rally on the road at SMU the way in which Baylor did, what was it, in double overtime to put up those kinds of points. Can we get off to a little bit of a faster start if you're Dave Aranda's team? Like, that would be one thing, one box you'd like to see checked. And you generate some momentum, maybe blow some teams out. But he's got to win games, and Baylor's got to be a factor, in the playoff race, at least in the conversation by the time we get to November. The numbers are going to be there. I mean, he's got weapons. I love his accuracy. I love his moxie. There's a lot of intangible boxes, I think, that are checked with Sawyer Robertson. We saw that at the end of last year when they went that 6-game run. Before the Texas Bowl game against LSU. But you asked me, what does he need to do to be, realistically in that conversation? There's some national media members starting to push that agenda out there a little bit. You have to beat some of the bigger teams on the schedule, I think, and be a factor in the Big 12 down the race, which is Not impossible. Not impossible. Let's see if he can do it.
And I want to see where your head's at with this. What's the magic number for games that Baylor would have to win for him to be a legit candidate and sitting down in New York City?
I mean, minimum 9. I mean, there's not a conversation that I'm going to have, in my opinion. Minimum 9, but I mean, more realistically 10. I just think we need to get into November, and you're looking at the Big 12 standings, Pete, and you're saying, okay, we've got Iowa State. Maybe Kansas State has bounced back by then. Who knows? Maybe Arizona State has bounced back by then. I'm really high on Utah and Devin Dampier and what he brings to the table from New Mexico. And let's see if Baylor is up there at the top of the standings, and has Baylor competed with and beaten some of those teams to force its way to the top. To me, that's it. I mean, the talent is there. The arm is there. All those things I think are where they need to be. You got to win. And I mean, look, it's a public relations game with the Heisman. I'm not telling you that's how it should be, but my experience, that's exactly what it is. So be in the conversation, win a bunch of games. Do you have that signature moment where maybe it's a comeback on the road, whatever it may be? You got to have all those things in line if you're going to have a realistic chance to get to New York City.
Right there. And Mr. Philpott, Roy Philpott, with our man Pete Souza. It is Mosley, Faith, and Scotty. We're getting close to kickoff. We need to get we need to get our predictions out there. Everybody's waiting to see what we think about Samford Baylor predictions-wise. And, boy, thank you for tuning in. Love those votes earlier. We had votes pouring in. We did another poll about something, and, we were saying, are they going to win it by 40-plus, 20-plus, 30-plus, something along those lines. And my thought is this. I think the Bears win this thing. I think he's going to take the foot off the gas. This is not what's the thing that Sark says, all gas, no brakes, whatever.
Sure.
Boy, Sark was weird this week, wasn't he? That was the strangest thing. I think the Bears win 41-13. Samford breaks out this week with a huge scoring.
Geez.
And the Bears win. I mean, this thing, people didn't even put a line on it. Vegas did not want to touch this thing. They hate these FCS teams. I don't even know if they're allowed to put lines on it. I never saw a line on this game. But if you can find a secret line, I would imagine the Bears would be favored by 35 is what I would set this line at.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm doing the odds making. Faith, what do you think?
That's what you're doing. I think I'll provide some hope to us a little bit. I'll provide a little bit of spice. I'll just say 45-0. Let's say all the things we've been practicing, say all the things we were talking about, they come true. We see a different version of Baylor football today. So yeah, I'll put it out there. I'll say 45-0. I don't want to see any disappointments today. So yeah, I'll throw out a 0 for everyone. Scotty?
Now, Samford is 3 for 3 on field goals.
Oh, okay.
They are 3 for 3. So let me put it to you this way. Samford will score at least a field goal. I hope we keep it to a field goal. Even 2 field goals I'd feel okay about. I need Baylor's offense to show an edge. It's really easy, as Matt said, to maybe take your foot off the gas. It might suit the style of this particular head coach. I've been pretty clear this week. That's not the style I prefer. I want pedal to the metal. When Walker White or Edward Griffin or Nate Bennett come into the game, I want to keep throwing the football. Let's get these guys real reps. I want to see Baylor score at least 50. So give me the Bears 56-3, and we'll talk about it this week on our plethora of Rogue Media shows and react to whatever may happen.
You know what I wish they would do is do a thing out on the field. You know how Mac and them always go out and present something, after the quarter. I wish they would present the check to Samford during one of those, the $1 million. I think that'd be nice. That's why they're here. So take care of them.
Look at our poll that we have.
All the votes continue to come in. People think 46% of the vote, 28 to 40 point margin for the Bears, 41 plus 24%. And then, as my sources tell me, between 15 and 27 is 26%. And this is right there at 365 Sports YT for YouTube. So anyway, that was great. That was a good poll. We've had a lot of participation. We've had a lot of people out there.
Yes.
Scotty, great work by you. More and more people subscribe, go, comment. It is the Green and Gold Game Day pregame show, tailgate show. And we will be back. Oh, Arizona State, man, it's almost here.
Next week.
That is going to be very exciting. I thought everything was very smooth today. I mean, except for my parts of the show. But I thought you guys were great. I love Scotty's hour. So, Scotty, Faith, thank you so much. And let's do it again next week, starting at about 4:30.
Let's thank our sponsors really quickly, and then we will let you go watch the game. Ascension Providence, thank you. Central National Bank, thank you. Brazos Landing, go there after the game today. Would be a great opportunity, by the way, to go visit. Matt Mosley, what's it you always order?
The Bang Bang Shrimp.
Bang Bang Shrimp at Brazos Landing. Hondo Hat Company.
Yay!
Baylor Bear hats. Look at this. They gave us money for me to wear this, and I might keep it forever. I love it. I actually love it. Make sure you get out to the game. If not, make sure you watch it. Enjoy the call. Anything else, guys?
Man,
let's go beat Samford, guys.
Yeah,
How
let's
about it, Matt?
beat 'em.
How about it?
Beat the dog out of Samford.
This has been the Green and Gold Game Day Show. Make sure to go to YouTube, subscribe, like it, share it. We'll be back next week for Arizona State. Let's do a quick sick 'em to send us out. Sick 'em Bears. See you guys next time.
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out gathercoremodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
At Hellberg, we've received accolades for our barbecue, but my real passion is in cultivating world-class culinary experiences that bring people together. We would love to cater your next event. You receive a fully personalized experience complete with a custom menu that's sure to impress your guests. And even though we're known for our barbecue, it goes way beyond that. We've done everything from box lunches to grilled oysters and whole roasted pigs. Basically, if you can dream it, we can do it. This is at the heart of what we do. This is Hellberg.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
I mean, yeah, a new coach comes in, they're going to turn the roster. I think that's just we've got all these transfer portal stats and what Dion did and what Fritz has done. I mean, that's the deal, man. That's the game that's being played nowadays.
Maybe a little bit unknown at quarterback. I mean, unknown to the rest of the world, but you know, he dove into the portal and got a guy who is super, super athletic.
South Dakota State's really good. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what they can do and what Oklahoma State needs to be worried about.
Look at that form right there. I need to say nothing else about this because I found one.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge?
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Colin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Colin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
I'm Cole Posey, and I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and then over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.